The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
Hey, yo, can you hear me?
I can.
I can
Were
hear
you
you.
having
Thank God for
hearing
that.
problems?
Oh my word, we were talking away absolutely fine. Hey, yo, good evening, everybody. In the chat, please let me know you can hear me okay and everything like that. We were talking in like the sort of pre-record bit, weren't we, Magsy?
We were.
And absolutely everything was fine. And I was like, shit, there's like 15 seconds left. So you played the intro, and I just lost everything. There's no sound or anything.
So you didn't hear any of the intro?
No, nothing.
Wow.
So I was down the bottom here, waving like this to you, trying to go, I've got no sound, mate. I can't hear nothing.
And I was saying back to you, saying, I can't hear you.
Ah, fair enough.
Because it mutes both of us in that little green room. When you play a video, it mutes both of you. So yeah, it's weird that you couldn't hear it, but
very strange.
Maybe it's because you've got a brand spanking new laptop, sir.
Wow. Well, this is it. I have been very unlucky and then very lucky at the same time. Basically, my laptop died a death. It's finally gave up the ghost. Sharon bought it me as a present. I think it was a Father's Day present or a Christmas present. I'm not sure when it was. It was, it's a few years old, and I used it for. I used it for everything. All my recordings, all the lives we do, all my editing, everything was on this laptop. And I was, backing up the memory on certain things with like memory sticks and so on as well. And then, when was it? Saturday? It just went, nah, fuck you, and just stopped.
I've had enough. You've worked me to death.
Exactly. I had obviously it's been a bit of a rough time for me. My dad passed away, and today he was cremated this morning in a private thing away. There was no one attending that. We're going to get the ashes back and have our own private service because that's what my dad wanted. That was his wishes. He didn't want everyone to go for a funeral or any service like that because it was so upsetting when he saw his brother pass away. So that was his wishes, despite the fact certain people in the family that aren't really linked heavily to us, we have nothing to do with them, didn't like that. But fuck you, it's none of your business. That's what my dad wanted. But there we go.
Sackville Baggins as hobbit skin and sticking the noses in.
Then also, sadly, people will know of Toby, who was next door's cat, who effectively moved in here and spent a great deal of his time here. Apparently, when he wasn't here, he was going back home next door. But he was also seeing another bloke 2 doors down the road. The other direction.
Another bloke. Do you hear yourself? You were having an affair.
I did, mate. I was
with
jealous.
Your neighbour's cat.
I was jealous. But yeah, it again very sad. Toby was a very old cat. I believe he was 18. He passed away as well. Just old age. Just that was that. And then all this happened, and then my laptop packs up, so I had a proper tantrum, Max. I lost my shit. I fucking punched stuff, and it got a bit much for me. I'm
surprised you haven't started this episode wearing a dark black cape and carrying a staff, because you're like the Grim Reaper recently. Laptop,
oh, it's not a good look,
cat,
is it?
Dad.
Oh, it's not a good look.
Everyone off.
It weren't good. It weren't good, but. Straight away it knackered the Doctor Who pod recording for this weekend. It knackered various other things I was going to do. Thankfully, Dan and I got a couple of episodes in the bank, so it's not going to affect any releases. But then, and Nitro Nights as well. Nitro Nights is back. We've got a couple of episodes in the bank, so that's not an issue and so on. But then I started thinking, shit, what am I going to do Monday night? Oh my word. Thankfully, my wife and my mother-in-law sorted out this wonderful machine that we're going to pay off bit by bit over the course of the next God knows how long. I'll probably die before it's paid off, so I'm not too concerned. But sitting down to do a live on this for the first time, it was weird because it's much better than my old machine, much better than my old machine. And all of a sudden, I turned it on. I'm like, wow, look at the camera! And all of a sudden, everyone can see all around me. You know, you can see like all around me. You know, there's so much space, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then, of course, I turned the light on, and it's incredibly bright. And I was like, I don't like this at all. I'd rather be back in the darkness, you know. And
You
then
don't
sitting
like
here when we
change or
I
technology,
don't
though,
like
do you?
change, mate. I don't like change. But then when we started, and then the sound went off, I was like, oh shit, what's happened here? But
Here we go again.
it's okay. It's okay. People can hear me. I can hear you. We can see each other. We can see the chat. Awesome stuff, Magsy. Awesome stuff.
And because of all that, you have not done a Hall of Fame or Hall of Lame, have you? You've strong armed a new excuse to not do any of the work.
I've not done a Hall of Lame, Hall of Fame, no. I was actually going to. I thought better of it because I thought it was in quite bad taste. I was actually going to have a, shall we say, hypothetical rant about people who might share my surname or might not share my surname. People who might be family, might not. Or hypothetical, of course. And how I have found out today, on the day that my dad was being cremated and so on, that they've been absolute dicks to other members of my family. And these members of my family have decided, probably rightfully so, not to tell me, because they know that I can react sometimes, shall we say, a little bit hot-headed, Mags? I can be a little bit. So they've probably done the right thing in avoiding telling me. I was going to have a rant about that and talk about how these people are pieces of shit. And it's not up to them what my dad has done at the end of his life, with his cremation, stroke funeral, stroke service, whatever, because this is what my dad wanted.
Yeah.
It's not up to them, posting stuff on Facebook and saying, oh, we have to honour the immediate family. It's not about what we wanted. It's what my dad wanted. I wouldn't have done this myself with it. I wish I could have been around to say Talah at the end of his life. It's not about what you wanted. It's about what my dad wanted. So I suppose in a way, by not doing my Hall of Lame, Hall of Fame, and saying I was thinking about having a rant, I've actually just had a rant anyway, explaining it. But still, fuck you.
I like the way, though, you didn't mention it and you took the moral high ground because you're a better man.
That's what I thought. And it's all, of course, all of it is completely hypothetical, of course. It's completely hypothetical. Now, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 grandchildren. My dad has 10 grandchildren. Hypothetically, I would dare one of these fuckers to give me one name of a grandchild, but they couldn't do it. But yeah, apparently it's up to them what happens with my dad with his cremation. Fuck you. Fuck you. But anyway, that's all, like I said, very hypothetical. You know, it was a what if scenario I was going to throw around.
Yeah.
But I decided not to, Magsy, and we're going to move on.
We are. Do you want to start the show?
We will, mate. Shall we start the show? Nearly 10 minutes in. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live, an SJP World Media production, episode 150. My goodness. Why?
Yep.
I am Si, and with me, as always, is the Beast Incarnate. To my glorious Barnet, I've got the best hair in podcasting magazine. Nobody could argue. I would let it down, but it's hot and sweaty in here, mate. It's really warm. It's really warm. The All Japan Tag League. To my all-conquering fatigue. Takes it out of you, mate. Losing your rag and beating the shit out of a laptop. I'm tired. A podcaster who, like Daniel Bryan, always has groups of paying customers shouting yes, yes, yes without fail. It's the podfather himself, Lord Mags. How are you, my friend? On our 150th episode.
Yeah, it's mental. That 100. That's 3 years straight, and it's mind blowing. I mean, we've took breaks in between, obviously, so it's actually longer than that. Jesus wept. That's a long ass time. And all those people who paid me for saying yes, 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 quickly do chargebacks and refund requests when they're saying no, no, no. So I'm not up on the deal whatsoever. So you've not been enjoying the hot weather then, have you not?
Very warm, Mugsy,
Yes.
isn't it?
Now, 2 weeks ago, maybe, I would have hated how warm it's been. But because I'm now a legitimate farmer, I've loved it. The sun is like it's like the farmer's best friend. All my plants and my vegetables are all sprouting out and they're all massively glorious. And then we got a lot of rain yesterday, which perked them up a bit even more. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with the weather. I had a glorious weekend.
Fantastic stuff, mate. Fantastic. I like the heat. We talked about this. Sorry, I just got to do something with that. That's a bit. There we go. We talked about it in the past. Like, we've had those crazy heat waves in this country because obviously living in Britain, living in England, we don't get a proper summer. We get cold, we get rain, we get sleet, we get shit, and then we just get a couple of weeks of intense bollocks that want to kill you, and then back to the rain, sleet, and shit.
Yeah.
But I love the hot. I don't care how hot it gets. I love it. Even though I'm much fatter now than I was once upon a time, even now I still love the heat. You know? I also like the fact we got a little bit of thunder and lightning. That was quite cool. Did you get any thunder and lightning your way?
Oh, did we? We had about 13 millimeters of rain in 4 minutes. It come down like buckets. Our road, which is like we're essentially on top of a hill. It was flowing
we know your
down.
estate, isn't it? Your private estate with your moat at the bottom. Your long
the
driveway.
The moat was not a moat; it was a lake. The
only house on top of the hill.
Yeah, looking down on all the swimming peasants. One of the roads that actually lead down the hill, cars were flooded, like basically up to the roofs. There's like a 6-foot wall next to this nursery, and that was like full of water. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but fun for us because we're up in the sticks.
Yeah, that's it. All the peasants there at the bottom of the hill screaming, Mr. Mags, Lord Mags, please throw me something to help me float. My children are drowning. And you're just there pelting with the Brussels sprouts and pickled eggs you've been making.
I've not made any more pickled eggs because we've still got some left, but they are glorious.
I told you if you've got some left, send me some.
I don't want to share.
Shall we dive into the chat, Magsy, and have a little look who has joined us on our 150th episode?
Yep,
I did make a really cool special new intro just for this episode as well.
Where was it?
But I lost it. It was the laptop took it.
I know. Dad with the laptop.
I know it's on. I'm looking up here because I've got a shelf just above my head here. I know it's on one of these like 86 memory sticks, but I'll be honest, I couldn't be fucked to look. So
Brilliant. Let's dive into the chat. And before we start going into it, thank you all for sticking with 2 clowns for 150 episodes.
Yes.
As we've said multiple times, podcasts usually don't survive 10 episodes. And the fact that you lot have been with us since day one and you're still here 4 years later, yeah, we massively appreciate you. And then you go and spoil it all by being twats and having a fucking 50-50. So all that what I said, I take back, you bunch of tossers. Main ringleader of the Tosser Brigade, Mr. Dan Griffin.
This bastard, yeah.
Yeah, so before I get into his comment, fun fact, I did a Google search for the match, the All Japan one, and I basically copy-pasted it from your tweet. The first link that come up for me was a tweet by Dan saying that this should be a 50-50. The very first tweet on Google first page was Dan shit stirring to get a 50-50 in. So I'm not best pleased with him. Anyway, he says, "Hey, yo, cWf, you're welcome for this 50-50. Look at him, just bragging about it. Just a shame I won't be about to enjoy it till after the footer. Well, I hope Liverpool, is it Liverpool, lose.
Liverpool,
I think
Villa,
winning 1-0. I hope Villa stick one right on you. Anyway, he looks forward to hearing just how much Sa calls me a bastard off that. No, not Sa.
I did call him a bastard, didn't I?
Me. I'm also calling you a bastard, you bastard.
Out of all the words I could have chose, I did actually call him a bastard. That's creepy.
Oh, you read it in the chat because it's literally at the side of the screen.
I didn't because when I've got my intro covers that. I got to have it up because even though we've done 150 episodes, literally 2 weeks ago, I completely fucked my intro up. So I've started to bring it back up again in writing in case I miss it.
I'm surprised you've not just got it on a piece of paper sellotaped over half the screen.
Yeah, I could do actually. I
So
won't lose it then.
Yeah. Next is King Pig Bladders. Hello, sir. And again, some absolutely amazing artwork. The thumbnail for the YouTube video.
Fantastic.
It's chef's kiss. Me as Brock and Sa as Sa, essentially. There was literally no difference. So yeah, it's brilliant artwork.
Daniel Bryan's skinnier, and I've got better
and
hair.
a world
Those are the
champion.
differences.
Yeah.
What's that about? Is that important?
King's Pig Banner says it was written in the stars that this would be a 50-50. The first lady of the cWf, Sharon, says it's Monday night, and you know what that means. Yes, we do. And she also confirms that everyone can hear us. Sorry for that. Sorry for that, Sharon. Connor says hello. Yeah, after he was in the bad books last week, he decided to show his face.
Why aren't you at work, you lazy bastard?
Exactly. King Pig Banner says, evening, gents, and there's a goal for Liverpool already. Well, fuck's sake. Sharon says, Christmas present before you started podcasting, and it wasn't really made for that. Well, there we go.
Well, there we go. Yes. Oh, I was writing, wasn't I? I was still doing a lot of writing. It was bought when I was, of course. Yeah, I remember now. Thank you, Sean.
Total Steve in the chat, and he says, evening all, 2 weeks in a row live for him. Oh, well, you are always more than welcome here, sir. Sharon says he'd be less jealous if I was seeing another bloke. Cat cheating on you, wife cheating on you. Cat, how could you do this to me?
Oh, mate, it was a sad day. It really was a sad day. He was my mate. He was.
And then you killed him. King Big Better says, congratulations on the 150. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, it's been a long slog for one of us and absolutely glorious for the other one. I'll let you decide which is which. Dan Griffin says, just dropping in whilst I'm having a shit. Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you very much for thinking of us whilst you're curling one out. Yeah. He says, during the footage, to let you know that the volley will be advertising as well. Not only has he made us watch 2 half-hour-long matches, and now he's come on to use this time to advertise. Well, I'm not reading that about the volley being back on Sunday, and I hope the One Chip Challenge burns your testicles. King Pig Banner says, great news.
Burns your testicles? Yeah. What sort of chili is this?
No, I hope he drops it, and it flips all the way down.
Like a shard from the crisp, just...
Or it gets that hot that when he pisses, it's like pissing lava.
Yes, that's the best one.
Yeah. Connor, legitimate farmer. In quotation marks, I am a legitimate farmer. I am growing plants from seeds and I raise chickens and eat their baby eggs. So, yeah, I'm a farmer. Sharon says, yes, Dan, that's awesome. The volley, not you having a shit. Total Steve O says, Mags's version of you're aware you are recording this, right? Is shall we start the show? Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to get Sa in the moment and you've got to kind of like deflect him.
Yeah, I do tend to lose the plot a little bit.
He does rant a lot. He likes a good rant. King Pigbanner says, I love Thunder and Lightning. We didn't get any. Oh, it was glorious. We had the Northern Lights for Friday and Saturday, then the Thunder on Sunday. Yeah, we had a cracking bunch of weather this week. Steve O says this is the 150th episode. I still reference the time that I started listening. It was the RVD versus Cena match. Jesus, that's a long time ago.
I can't even tell you when that was. I can't even bring up a spreadsheet to look because it's gone.
Oh, Jesus. You need to redo that spreadsheet because my brain only goes back so many weeks and I may end up like renominating matches that we've already seen.
If you've got it saved from when I sent it you, send it me and I'll sort it out.
Okay. It's very out of date.
Yeah,
it's literally about 3 or 4 weeks after I come back from being mental.
Well, to be fair, you could update at your end.
I can't remember them things.
No, but as we go along.
Yeah, I could, but that also means like doing stuff.
It does, yeah.
And then King Pig's Banner says, oh, Dan's not going to be happy.
Guessing Villa scored.
Because it's 1-1.
1-1. There you go.
But it does say, Google front page, my influence knows no bounds. I was fuming about it because I was basically looking for a link for the match. I forgot that Sa put what said there was one in the comments. And yeah, straight away it's, let's organise 50-50. Like, bastard. Sharon says, I don't like this new camera. I can see just how bad I need to decorate. Yeah, but you can see it now in 4K, Sharon. Not only that, you can see it in 4K.
Just ignore it, Shats. You don't need. There's nothing wrong with But basically, as I mentioned before, we swapped bedrooms. This is my daughter's. This is the main bedroom, but it was where the girls were. Hence the decor and so on. It's still from when the girls had this bedroom. It doesn't need decorating. Let's not fuck about with that because it's just It's just with the back and the forth and the this and just.
I mean, it's that clear. I can see the dust on the lava lamp in the corner.
It's not actually a lava lamp. It's a really cool piece of a kit. It's like a sort of skeleton with loads of weapons and all. It's a cool bit of kit, but you can't make it. The camera's obviously not that good because it does
look like a lava lamp.
It does from here, doesn't it? Look at that.
Yeah, that's cool. That. Back to the chat. Last couple now. Connor says, I took 2 weeks off because I've got family coming down. Thank you very much. Look, you getting put right in your place, sir. How dare you question Connor?
I apologise very much.
Richard Stock says, Dan should live stream and call it the toilet. Oh, if Dan live streamed every time he went to the toilet, it'd just be permanent, wouldn't it? Just be absolutely permanent. Like the time when he took a shit in a garden.
Took a shit in a garden. Oh, yes.
You just got what? The joke? The toilet?
The toilet, yeah.
Is that a Gloucester thing?
No, I just got what he meant. It's like the toilet, the volley, the tolly. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Anyway, that is the
Thank
chat
you for joining us, Richard. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Magsy, I suppose we should get on with the show, shouldn't we? And seeing as I've prepared fuck all because I'm a loser.
You are a bastard.
Where we go is entirely up to you.
Again, you keep palming this schedule off on me by not doing the work.
You press the buttons. You make the things happen with the music.
The Hall of
Right, can everyone else hear that okay?
Yeah, absolutely fine.
That's all I got. There was no music. It literally went stopped, and then all I could hear was my brother's voice. I had nothing else, no music underneath or anything.
You could just hear the words and the
just our age going
in the beginning.
Oh no, that's not Aid. That was me. Sorry, I recorded that, didn't I? Yeah, but
Might have to check your settings post recording, sir.
Very strange. Magsy, what are we doing then?
Okay. I just want to list off some names. Okay. Lex Luger, Ricky Steamboat, Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, Hulk Hogan, Sting, and Nicholas Dickhead. All these are some of the greatest rivalries of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Now, one of them you may never have heard of. Nicholas Dickhead. Who is Nicholas Dickhead? Well, this is Ric Flair's latest and arguably greatest feud. So, over the last week or so, Mr. Flair, he took his family to frequent a pizza establishment called Paisano's in Gainsburg, New Jersey, somewhere like that.
Okay.
And he was not a happy bunny. And he tweeted out in his very unique, every word capitalized kind of way, at Paisano's, to be disrespected more than I have ever been in my entire life. Now, just bear that in mind. More disrespectful than when he was asked to cut his hair and be Spartacus. Just it's just the level of disrespect. He says, after taking 20 pictures with customers and staff, I was asked to leave because of an issue I had with the kitchen manager taking too long in the bathroom. I would highly recommend that anybody who wants to enjoy relaxing time in Gainesville at a nice restaurant never to visit this place. And just to cement how angry he was, he even wooed at the end of his tweet because you've got to stick with the brand. So, Ric Flair, how dare they just disrespect the legend that is Ric Flair? Oh, we'll get that. We will get there.
We've got a whole segment about Hogan's lies. Don't you worry about that.
And I've got a cracker this week. So yeah, Ric Flair absolutely disrespectful, disrespected. Paisanos should hang their head in shame. But then somebody leaked a little bit of video footage.
They did.
The footnotes of that video footage was Flair said that the media are going to shit all over the company. He called the store manager Nicholas Dickhead. He claims he didn't use any cuss words. He then gave the waiting staff $1,000 tip so he could tell the manager to kiss his ass. He claims the manager told him to leave, but then the manager corrected him and said, I didn't say you have to leave. I just can't serve you any more alcohol. But whilst paying his bill, Ric Flair said he was cool with all the wait staff and then called the manager a dipshit. This then prompted the manager to actually ask him to leave. And then Ric Flair says he's leaving and then offers him to fight outside. The manager declines and says, I can't because I'm on the clock. And then Ric Flair replies with the sickest burn ever, saying, yeah, you're on the pussy clock. I mean, this is a guy who was magic on the mark at one time. Another customer at the bar clearly has enough and then offers to fight Ric Flair outside instead. But then this is where Ric Flair magically gets selective deafness because he keeps asking the guy, what did you say? Multiple times. We then got an official management response, and they said, we have reviewed video footage of the incident that took place recently at our restaurant. It is clear that our team worked in a professional manner to ensure the safety of guests and staff. We have thanked our team for their professionalism. We are proud of how they responded to this situation, and they demonstrated our team value. So after he didn't quite get the social media reaction he wanted, Ric Flair decided this is time to double down. And he said, I don't shake hands or take photos in the bathroom. Any man that goes into a bathroom knows that you can see into the stall. And he told the staff member, get your ass off the toilet. I need to use the restroom. Rick then claimed there was a staff member inside the stall who he could visibly see through the cracks, texting away. So he's angry that a member of staff was texting on the toilet and because he wanted to piss. After he left, a female employee allegedly called him a peeping Tom and a creep. I mean, if the shoe fits Rick, then...
Yeah, not far off.
He then said, I'm not going to tolerate that, and you wouldn't either. That's a pretty offensive remark. I'll be quite honest with you. I was pissed off because I didn't do anything wrong. But then he actually admitted to doing something wrong by saying that he did cuss at the manager. He said, it's my word against a kitchen employee, and it makes no sense. I admit to everything I said. I have no problem with it because I was mad. Flair then also revealed that his bill wasn't $1,500. It was actually $1,200, but that also includes the tip that he gave the staff to call the manager, to tell the manager to kiss his ass. But the manager actually rejected the $1,000 tip and paid the employees out of the company's account. So Flair actually only spent $200, not $1,500. Ric Flair, who is still very clearly angry about this, made it clear that he's looking at suing the restaurant. And then, in fact, he plans to buy it and rename it Ric Flair's Italian Bistro. I have the money to buy the restaurant, he said. It will be called Ric Flair's Italian Bistro. So my Hall of Lame this week is meeting your wrestling heroes, and they turn out to be a fucking bellend, aka Ric Flair.
See, I saw. Also, I read online about what supposedly had happened and the back and forths and different accounts and Flair ranting and so on. You can't take anything Ric Flair says for granted, of course. We know that. Then I saw the footage, and I actually sent it to Sharon and said, "This genuinely makes me sad because I'm a massive Flair fan, and it's horrible seeing a guy who was the best in the world at what he did for so long, has entertained so many people, and just basically been brilliant at so many aspects of this business. He's had his health issues because of the way he used to party. He's lived the life of being the man, so to speak. The health issues caught up with him. He had all this support in the industry from fans and so on. He pulled through. He had operations that were required and the medical help that he needed. And then we see him, as drunk as he was, behaving this way. It's heartbreaking as a Flair fan. It's like, but at the same time, it's not devastating in a way that it's a shock.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it even worse. It's a case of, oh, when is this going to happen again? Not, oh, look what's happened, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. The fact that it's not surprising that this has come out and happened, that speaks absolute volumes. And it's just tarnishing a legacy that was potentially the standard bearer for the world of wrestling. And all the stuff afterwards, and all the revelations of how he acted outside the ring, it sullies him. It sullies him as the greatest wrestler that ever lived.
Funny you bring that up, Maxie. I'm going just off the top of my head now. I remembered something I read online, and I'm going to ask you a question then. My favourites of all time are Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. We talk about Barry Windham, I hold him in high regard, of course, and so on. There's plenty of other wrestlers I adore watching work and so on. But to me, Michaels and Flair, at certain points in their career, were the best to ever do it. Depending on who you listen to, because a lot of people in the industry say the same thing. Jim Ross says that one of them is, 1A, one of them is 1AA or whatever. It's impossible to separate them. So many people in the business say the same thing. Triple H says the same thing, and so on. Then a lot of people also online, whether it's podcasters or writers or whatever, say that Flair would go in above Michaels for them because Flair, yes, okay, he used to drink and party, etc., but it would never affect him in the ring. He would never miss a show. He was never late, and his attitude backstage was good. He would question, why do you want to do this? But he never refused to lose, etc. And that's why they put him above Michaels, because Michaels had an attitude backstage in the late 90s, had his drug issues, was disruptive to the business, and so on. Now, we've moved on so many years. We're here now in 2024, and people are talking about Flair's behaviour now destroying his legacy in the same way that Michaels did, and then turned the corner when he came back and was the model professional. Now, if you had to choose between those two, I'm not saying that those two are your choice for the best ever, but if you had to choose between those two, but if you had to choose between those two, as many people throw those names around, Michaels was always hindered because of his attitude. Now we've got this stuff with Flair. Where do you place them in order now? If they were the only two wrestlers you were given an option for?
I mean, for me, I essentially lived through their generation, so I remember their early work. So for me, would still be Flair. I think Flair all round was more of a net positive for the wrestling business. Michaels
more money as well.
Yeah, Michaels absolutely outstanding. Don't get me wrong. This is not a slight on Michaels, but Ric Flair did more for the wrestling business than Shawn Michaels did.
Yeah,
but you've got to take into account that the newer wrestling fans haven't lived through Shawn Michaels' career, haven't lived through Ric Flair's career, so they don't have that knowledge to fall back on. Now they're seeing Ric Flair as the old guy who turns up at AEW and basically piggybacks off Sting's retirement, who had a last match which should never have happened. It was absolutely ridiculous, and is looking into having another retirement match. And then incidents like what happened over this past week, and the dark side of the ring episode where he's basically outed as a sex pest. I think it's so hard to look at the very best wrestlers that they've ever been and find people who haven't been controversial.
Huh?
I think it almost comes hand in hand that if you are a top wrestling star, you are going to be involved in some sort of controversy, or your reputation is going to be sullied by stuff that happens outside the ring. I mean, who on the list of the very best wrestlers hasn't got that kind of dark undertone? It's just it's a dark business. And when you get beyond the glitz and the glamour of what happens in the ring, wrestling's a dark business anyway. So yeah,
very much so. Okay, there we go.
What a downer we went on then. Ric Flair, you prick.
What a bastard you are, Flair. Let's dive through the chat quickly, Mags, and then we'll get on to I was going to say a little bit more positive, but a non-wrestling topic is about what pisses people off as well. But hopefully we can have a bit of fun with what irritates people. So yeah, let's have a dive through the chat, my friend.
Yep. So Connor comes back and says, from what I know, marriage is about compromise, which translates to what Sharon says goes in your case, Sir. That is not unique to Sir. Basically, marriage in the Mags household is what's mine is Lorraine's, and what's Lorraine's is Lorraine's. So yeah, it's not so much a compromise as such a you gain a boss, don't you? Basically,
yeah, pretty much.
Total Steve says the RVD match was during the Corona lockdown. Oh, back in the old days, the days when the world was on fire. And then Sharon says, yes, it was fine.
The audio when it played, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. King Pigs Brothers says, what links this list of people? They're all wrestlers. Well, I don't know if Nicholas the Bastard is. Nicholas Dickhead was a wrestler. It may be soon.
I think he should. I hope he. If those guys from Coronation Street can get a match and work something, Nicholas the Bastard or Nicholas the Dickhead, I think, needs to get booked somewhere.
Yeah, and talk about people who were in wrestling matches. Today, I essentially relearned that Phil Collins once wrestled the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, in that music video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about it, and then I was reminded about it today in a video. No Player Left Behind says, Hulk, bullshitter Hogan. We'll get to that.
I believe that is Mr. Benny Mac. Let me know if I'm incorrect. I apologize if I am. But I believe that is our good friend Benny Mac.
Well, hello, Benny. Steve-O says the audio is absolutely fine. Connor says, I guess Ric Flair forgot that urinals are in men's bathrooms. Maybe he's double incontinent now. Maybe he's doing a Donald Trump and he has to wear a man nappy wherever he goes.
Perhaps he just needed a poo.
Yeah, it could well be.
It's as simple as that, yeah.
Who's going to shit in a urinal? That would be bad, even for Flair.
We've all been there.
And you'll see the next episode of that on the Toller with Dan Griffin when he shits in a urinal. Oh, it's a splasher. King Pigs Banner says Flair needs to stay at home and never leave. I mean, one thing I thought of when reading and kind of like writing my notes for this story is Flair talks about him being out with his family. Why are none of his family kind of like pulling him on and saying, come on, Rick, stop being a bell end. You're embarrassing.
I bet they've seen it so many times now. They just know not to get involved.
Either that or the suckling at the teat of Ric Flair's money.
There is, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
They want that woo energy money just as much as him. King Pig Belly says, I agree. I was a huge Flair mark, and now he's an embarrassment.
It's so sad.
It actually is. No player left behind. AK Benny says he could serve pork woo chops in his bistro. Brilliant. King Pig Belly says, just as wrestlers, Flair #1, now Sean all the way. I mean, Sean seems to have gone the opposite way. He's totally like redeemed himself now, and he's helping the next generation. Ric Flair is trying to just grip hold of that spot. He just don't want. He's doing the Hulk Hogan, brother. Benny says, "Happy wife, happy laugh." Yep, that's exactly why we bow down to our ladies. James says, "How you been, lads? Yeah, we're doing really well. You've missed an early rant by Sa about hypotheticals, and now we're just slagging off Ric Flair." And Benny confirms that it is Benny on the No Player Left Behind account. It is actually Benny.
Excellent stuff. There we go. Well, whilst you're here then, Benny, briefly in the chat, let us know about No Player Left Behind and what you're thinking of doing with that channel. Well, we've got people here with us in the chat as well. We've got Magsy and I here as well. So, let us know in the chat what you're thinking of doing with that channel and, get the word out there, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Magsy, I suppose now we better ignore everything to do with wrestling because Flair's pissed us off and talk about what pisses us off.
I mean, why change the habit of a lifetime?
NWT time. Oh, no wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic.
Lovely.
Nice. Lovely. Nice.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
That is very strange. Whatever that's doing in my ears now. I got no music again, but I got words. So strange.
Yeah, it is weird.
I wonder what's going to come out as when I download the audio for the podcast later.
Yeah, you might need downloading from my side because I can actually hear it.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have to see, mate. We'll have to see. So then, this week on Chain Wrestling Live, our non-wrestling topic is kind of touching back to something we covered many, many moons ago. I think in the past, Magsy, you worded it as what really grinds your gears was kind of the term that you used when we put it forward in the past.
Yep.
It's basically what pisses us off, what annoys us, etc., etc. But I wanted to kind of come at it from the angle of, anything that pisses you off, fine. But I was looking for things that may be specific to you that you can't explain why it pisses you off, or you get annoyed with something and other people look at you like and go, well, it's not that big a deal, or something along those lines. And it's inspired by my wife and my middle daughter, Livy, watching the women's FA Cup final on Sunday, I think it was. And the players are stood there and they sing the national anthem, the officials are in the middle, and then one team goes down the line and they all shake hands, etc., etc. But they don't. There's no handshake in there. It's all bro fists with the officials, with the mascots, and it's not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. And times change, and I get life moves on, but I don't know why it boiled my piss, mate. I was like, it's the FA Cup final. Fucking shake hands. Especially with the referee. Don't fist bump the referee. What the hell was that? So that's kind of what inspired where we're getting at with this, I think, Magsy, isn't it?
Yeah, and it showed just how petty and easily irritated the cWf are, because god damn, you angry bunch of bastards.
I will dive into them. Sorry, this graphic here, if you're watching on the live, if you're listening on the audio version, you've seen it probably on our Twitter account. This little girl just being really angry and frustrated with a hairbrush in her hand. It cracks me up every time I see it. It's brilliant.
It's the faces that she pulls there.
She is so cross. It's so funny. Ray joining us in the chat there saying, evening, dinner and movie with the family are done. So he's on to his main event of Monday night now. He's joining us. Good to see you along again, Ray. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Absolutely.
And you joined us right at the beginning of a non-wrestling topic. So we're about to dive in. And we begin, as always, Magsy, I'll read them out in the order they arrived into us. And I can see straight away The order on screen
No.
is wrong to what I've got on my.
Brilliant.
First of all, Steve-O responded straight away and said, "I will do my endless thread tomorrow morning." So he was just letting us know
He's got a lot to come out. So he's just pre-warning us.
But he did say FPL is the simple answer, and we got this little audio clip there of him getting very cross with with the fantasy football world. Rob, then we begin with Rob at UTT Rob on Twitter. He says, Ryan Gosling. I've said that right, haven't I? Gosling, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
Ryan
Baby
Gosling.
Goose.
Baby Goose.
Yeah, Gosling.
Oh, I thought you meant he played like Goose's kid in the new Top Gun or something.
Goose
Is that what
Junior.
Baby Okay.
No, that's Baby Goose. Gosling.
Right, okay. Well, there you go. You learn something every day, don't you? Ryan Gosling being cast as the Fall Guy. Beth, who Rob's missus, has banned him from seeing the film due to his constant "he's no Lee Majors" chunderings. Gosling should be at the very least have done a Dennis Waterman or Lee Majors and written the theme tune and sang the theme tune. Now, have you seen these trailers, Magsy, for the new Fall Guy film?
I've seen. Yeah, he plays basically a stunt guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, do you know what the Fall Guy is? Do you remember the original show?
Was that the guy who was in? He was part of the A Team. Was he in it? Face from the A Team.
No. That's Battlestar Galactica.
No, I'm sure he was in it. I'm sure. But
He may well. I don't think he was, but
okay. But anyway,
was running
no, I've not seen it. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's a similar sort of time, the Fall Guy, to the A Team and Airwolf and that kind of era, Knight Rider, early to mid 80s, I guess. And it's about a Hollywood stuntman who, on the side, is a bounty hunter because why not? That's what happens apparently. And each episode is about him having to capture somebody for his nighttime job of being a bounty hunter, but somehow having to use the stunts that he's using in the movie at that time and stuff like that. And it was just a lot of silly fun, and it was one of those Saturday afternoon TV shows back in the 80s, early 90s in this country. It was shown.
Starring the guy who was facing the A Team.
It's not the guy who's because Lee Majors is Lee Majors was the $6 million man.
Yeah.
Right, that's not Face in the 18.
I didn't say it were. I'm just saying the Fall Guy. I distinctively remember the Fall Guy being the guy who was facing in the A Team.
No, those are different actors.
Well,
Lee Majors is the guy in the Fall Guy. No, let's not agree to disagree. You're fucking wrong.
I'm going to look this up.
Yeah, look it up, mate. Look it up. Lee Majors was the Fall Guy, and he was also the $6 million man, Steve Austin, which is where Steve Austin got his name from. Face was in Battlestar Galactica and the 18. He wasn't the main guy in the Fall Guy. That was Lee Majors.
Okay, you might be right.
Now you've looked it up on Google, you can see that I am right. There's no might be
right,
about this.
Yes.
The
You
best
are
thing about
right.
the Fall Guy was the
I'm
entrance
out
music.
to your ancient knowledge.
There we go, mate. There we go. Oh dear. Connor Knows Soccer at Connor Knows Footy on Twitter. He says, I'll start and I'll say football when it comes down to simple errors made by players and misplaced passes that a toddler could make to the defence. Just standing around and letting an attacker run right past them. I don't know.
I've not got Connors. Oh, I have. He's changed his bloody picture, hasn't he? That's why.
Okay, right. A bit more fantastic Pig Spadders artwork, that is, Magsy. It's good stuff. Players not being able to play a pass a toddler could make, the defence just standing around and letting an attacker run right past them, leaving the keeper defenceless and usually ending up allowing a goal.
So basically,
it's frustrating.
People's errors in football wind him up. I mean, they're doing the best, Connor. They're trying their hardest.
Oh, you're so judgmental, Connor.
Yeah.
So mean. So mean.
He's just cruel. He's just cruel.
I bet after United conceded that goal against Arsenal and Casemiro made that clanger of not tracking, not getting up the pitch quick enough and playing everyone on side. You know, he doesn't need people on Twitter like Connor slating him. I bet he went off to the dressing room devastated, and he collapsed in tears on that big pile of fucking money he earns, absolutely distraught.
The best thing about goals and poor performances from Man United is watching Mark Goldbridge basically just shit himself. He's just got the best reactions of a Man United fan ever. I love watching him cry those salty tears.
I've got to a stage now where I'm not surprised anymore with how bad they are. It's humorous because I think it can't get any worse, and then it
does.
And I'm just sat there. It's almost like a chuckle out of disbelief more than anything. But there we go.
Yeah, because don't you need to win the cup to qualify for Europe?
Mate, what's the point? If we qualify for Europe, we're going to be starting in so many qualifying rounds, like the fourth qualifying round of like the Europa Conference or whatever, against some gang of pig farmers from Latvia, and they'll do us over anyway. You know.
When was the last year that Man United didn't qualify for Europe?
It weren't that long ago. It's only a few years ago.
Really?
We missed out on Europe a few times. Yeah, we missed out on Europe under Moyes.
You absolute bag of shit.
Didn't you get
That's
relegated?
coming from a Burnley fan. Yeah, but we were expected. We were expected to get relegated. We've spent very little money. Yous have spent hundreds of millions, and you're still shit.
We are.
You're not a big club anymore.
So shit.
The facts are facts.
Wow.
Man United are not a big club anymore.
Well, that's a debate for another day.
Brighton are a bigger club than Man United. Fact.
I've never had such bollocks in my life. But we'll cover this on. Connor continues with a theme that I think we're going to be touching back on quite a few times. Retail customers. I bag groceries part-time, and I've been on that job long enough that I know how to do it quickly and orderly. The first part to do this is when customers tell me how they want their items bagged and how many items they want per bag, and I have a real bitchy tone. So basically, these customers are telling Connor, I want 8 bags, and I want you to put that in that bag, that in that bag, that in that bag. We don't get that in this country, do we? We got to do it ourselves.
It's a very American thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bagging. The only time we get bagging in the UK is like when a local school is like trying to raise some money for a charity or whatever, and then you'll get school kids to bag yours. But yeah, it's very American thing to complain about as well. Just do your fucking job, Connor. That's all they're asking. Just do your job. They pay your wages, like indirectly. So if they want one thing per bag and want to walk out with 45 bags, just do your job, mate. Stop whinging. Take it from someone who's classy. Yeah.
Oh dear. At Pigs Bladders on Twitter, our good friend, the Photoshop King himself. Maxie, his is a 2-parter, and it seems I've screwed up and I only have 1 part. So have you got 2 parts?
I have got the.
You have.
Yes. Second part.
So, do you want to read out the first part for me? Because I can't. That's far too small, that writing on my screen.
So you've got everyone who worked in retail for more than 5 minutes will have a small collection of regular customers that piss them off. Me, I've got 3 that push my buttons. 2 are just. Are these 3 like separate people or 3 like groups of people like the knobheads?
I think the way
it looks like very specific people.
Yeah.
He's got 2 are just ignorant, real lack of manners. I fucking hate ignorant people. If there's one thing that boils my piss, it's ignorance. Absolutely. Like when you hold a door open for someone, or you let a car pull in front of you, and you don't get the little wave back. Oh, yeah. I want to crash them. I want to crash them people into the side of the road and laugh whilst they burn. Oh, they wind me up. Anyway, he says the real lack of manners. You know that on their phones or just ignoring you as you serve them. As for the other one, he comes in and asks a worker where to find an item. He gets taken to it. Then he will ask loads of questions about it and moan about the price. Oh my God, I just walk away. How do you not just walk away and say, look, mate, I get paid minimum fucking wage here, pal. Do you want the beans or do you not want the beans? And then just take a can and twat him with them. Oh. He asks the same question to every worker he sees. Finally comes to the till and has the same conversation to check that they weren't lying, because they could be arsed telling you lies. because they paid enough to bullshit you over a tin
It's a
of
lie
fucking
about
soup.
the price of beef.
What a pillock. Oh, that's annoying.
Dear me.
So yeah.
Oh
got that
dear.
one.
Okay. We have Ben. We have more from Pig's Bladders, I know, but I think unless you want to read that one out now, Max, I've got it later on
Well,
in my
yeah,
little.
it's a follow-on for
Okay.
me, so it probably wouldn't have shown up. So 5 nerds go. Matt, who is one of the most ruthless people on Twitter, he says, me, when people ask if 19p carrots can be reduced further, or people that leave things on shelves rather than put them back. One thing that really annoys me, and I don't even work in a supermarket, but it annoys me when you see things that people have opened and consumed on the way around, and then you see the wrapper or the bottle on the shelf, and you think, you absolute scruff bags. You've literally walked around and stole that. That boils my piss as well. So then King Pig Bladders says, leaving fridge food in the freezer or vice versa always annoys me. like a frozen lamb chop. We'll get a fresh one. No, these frozen ones are cheaper. Well, we can't be asked taking this one back. We'll leave it where we found it.
A frozen pizza just sadly limping over the corner of the shelf.
No way. Customers expecting you to remember what brand of vape or cigarettes they buy on a regular basis. Remember your own fucking shopping. Oh, these have gone in. And it pisses me off that I have barcode numbers stored in my head for items that don't scan well. For example, 502 01600 Cadbury's single cream egg. 506 476 82800 Adkins white York rolls 4-pack. What a waste of my fucking brain. Me seeing 502 01600. It's so much worse where I work because we have shell till system, which fucking sucks. You have to manually reduce things rather than scan the barcode. Cream eggs have had the same barcode for at least 12 years. I'd be fucked if they ever change it. But our tills aren't too bad, just slow. It's our 20-year-old fridges that keep breaking down that cause most of the issues, constantly emptying and refilling. See, when two supermarket workers get together, it's like just heaven, because they just absolutely just go in on the job that they both detest, but yet go to every single day. Yeah, amazing.
Exactly. Ben, my awesome co-host on the now returned Nitro Nights podcast, out every Friday via SJP World Media. And yes, I am all about the cheap plugs. It's never going to stop. At Largely Speaking on Twitter, he is flies. He says, dickheads invade my house and I don't understand how open windows work. That's true. When a fly or a wasp or a bee gets in your house, getting in seems never to be an issue. Getting out, it can't quite figure out how to get through the gap, can it?
Or what's worse is when you catch them and then let them out, and they just fucking do a U-turn and come straight back in and get trapped again. This week I've released at least 8 trapped bees, because obviously we've got lots of plants in our garden now, and they attract the bees, and then the bees come in the house and then can't leave, which is ridiculous. And they always do that thing where they'll climb to the top of the window, still can't get out, then just dive bomb back down to the bottom to do exactly the same thing again. They're fucking idiots.
Yeah,
they're idiots.
They eat shit, don't they? So what do you expect?
Bees don't. Bees are the best. Flies and wasps.
You literally just called them idiots.
Yeah, they are idiots, but they're the best idiots.
They're the best idiots. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm glad we cleared that up. Ben continues. People moaning about not being able to pay via cash at self-service tills when there are signs literally all over the shop saying card only.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's signs up, that's on
you. On the flip side, places that still don't accept card payments.
Yes, that's nonsense.
I mean, I've got into the habit now. I never take a wallet out. I always have my phone or a bank card. I'd never take cash. I very rarely have cash on me. And then when you go to a shop and it says cash on, you think, fuck's sake, just take a fucking card.
Down the high street, there's a lot of establishments. It's very, how can I word this without getting myself in trouble? It's very multicultural Treadworth High Street, shall we say.
So money laundering.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what I was going to get at. And there's lots of barbershops. I mean, I don't understand how fast the people in Treadworth's hair, in Treadworth, Gloucester, how fast their hair grows to warrant having potentially 6 barbershops down the high street, which is no more than 300 yards long. There's numerous cafes and fried chicken places and so on. None of them take card. There's always the same sign up that says card machine broken, cash only. It's been there longer than I've lived here, and I've been here 12, 13 years now. Yeah, so big money laundering stuff going on down there. It's funny as well when you hear the sirens and the helicopters going, which happens fairly regular, and they head towards the high street because you're thinking, which one's getting raided now? And then it's all over the papers. It's, yeah.
And every 6 months, 9 months or so, they'll shut down, and then under new management, and the same shop will reopen. It's all just a tax fiddle. Absolutely a tax fiddle.
Reeks of weed wafting out of it when you walk down the road as well. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Ben finishes off by saying he hates Ric Flair. Just a hyperactive pompadour.
I mean, you say he finishes off.
Oh, okay. He's got more, has he? Have I missed that?
Yes. You have literally slackened this week.
Oh no, I have got that. Yeah. He also has the hashtag there, don't care for Flair, which is something that we've realised Ben says all the time on Nitro Nights now. He justifies his disliking for any Ric Flair segment by saying, I just don't care for Flair, to the point where we've got a t-shirt made for him, and it's funny as fuck. So the new merch coming out for various shows for SJP World Media, Chain Wrestling, Nitro Nights, Not Who Pod, etc., 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 will be out very, very soon. And there's some great designs there, even if I do say so myself.
And I think we should change it a little bit, though. Like maybe social care or elderly care for Flair.
Elderly care.
It needs someone to look after him.
Well, yeah, he does. He did have, though, didn't he?
Mental health care for Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably windmilled her, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's probably why she left him.
Yeah.
Or was it like divorce number 86, was it? Or whatever?
I mean, isn't the guy still paying like alimony that he owes from like decades ago?
Yeah, this is why he's trying to get back in the ring, mate. Because it's such a shame. Anyway, Dan Griffin at Dan Griffin 21 on Twitter. He says, people who order cocktails or the pedantic Guinness twats in pubs. That I don't mind a Guinness, so I'm feeling a bit attacked at this point. Let's see where he goes.
Yeah, pedantic is the key word there. If you're going in and you regularly have a Guinness, then that's fine. If you're just having a Guinness because you think it's cool, then you're a cunt.
Okay. Cocktail drinkers, pretentious Guinness C word, as you said, and people like me who just want a pint. Don't let their espresso martini or resting Guinness get in the way of my self-medication. Exactly. He wants separate queues for different drinks.
Yeah, so pretentious arseholes, actual alcoholics. That should be the 2 queues.
Right, fair enough. I used to get really cross when the pub that I used to drink in, back when I was sort of like 20, 21-ish, I was in there pretty much every day. I had a little bed sit around the corner, and I knew the barmaids in there fairly well. They got one of these coffee machines in there. And that just fucking ruined everything, because the young lasses who were used to just, I'd just walk up to the bar and they'd already have a drink ready for me. It was brilliant in there. All of a sudden, I'm looking down the bar and they're looking back at me like, "Sorry, Si," and they're pouncing around, putting a bit of cocoa powder on top of some fucking caffeine juice or whatever. Get the fuck out of it. It's costing down the road.
Yeah, that's I mean, it is a big market to jump on, so I can understand why. But yeah,
no, fuck 'em.
Coffee in pubs.
Yeah. Dan continues. He says, people who wrong a company thinking they're another company, then refusing to get off the phone saying ring a company, he means. It
did say wrong, though. So maybe
he did say wrong.
Maybe he is wrong. Ring up.
I put it wrong. Yeah, maybe. I'll substitute the word and see if it makes more sense. People who ring a company thinking they're another company, they're refusing to get off the phone saying you're all the same, you can help me. when in fact they're very different companies with different functions, and just fuck off, Barbara. It's been 45 minutes.
I mean, there's also this invention called Google. If you've got an issue, just Google it.
Wow.
Who can be asked sat in a queue on a phone line waiting to be answered by a call center?
Sometimes you need that. For example, I need to ring up about my remote control for the cable. Yeah, I had to ring them up and say it's knackered, send me another one, because the only option that I had online was for me to pay for a new one. Well, fuck you, I'm not paying for a new remote. Send me a remote, I'll pay you enough money.
They're like
So in that
£3.
scenario, I had to ring up. No, they're like £9.99, mate.
I mean, I could have sent you one. Is it a Virgin box one?
Yeah.
I think I've got a couple of spare.
Not send them, I don't tell Sharon, but I'll send them down. I'll put them in my drawer.
I'll hoard them. I'll put them in my hoarding drawer.
I'll put them down there with the SCART cables and the video player. Dan also says people who write should have or could have or would have using of instead of have. Okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
The same principle.
Grammar,
This isn't going to work.
Pisses me off. It
Yes.
absolutely pisses me off. I mean, you'll know more than anyone. I write in proper sentences and I use capital letters and full stops. I can't stand just lazy writing. Even on Twitter with the limited characters, just use proper sentences. You look an idiot if you don't use actual words and sentences.
I get quite cross with Twitter because it seems that whatever I want to say, when I put tweets out to share out the shows and the links where people can listen and so on, I never finish the tweet perfectly and within the limit, and I'm never over by like 60. It's always 1 or 2, and that just makes me angry. So if you can just give me 5 more digits, man, that's all I need, you know.
Well, if you pay
My
for
wife-
Twitter Blue or X Blue,
Mate, I can't afford to feed my fucking kids. So am I going to pay for...
sorry, no more cheesy woggles. I've got extra characters I need on Twitter. Sharon rolling her eyes at you, saying you'll take some extra remotes.
This bit isn't going to work very well on the audio version, and I apologise, but here on the live version, people can see Dan's tweet on the screen. It's the same principle for him as there, etc. Use the right word, you illiterate fuckwits.
Mm-hmm.
Dyslexics excluded. We don't judge in that regard. Well, fair enough.
Yep. I mean, that's right. It's not hard. English is not a hard language to use, especially if you can type on Twitter, you can type correctly.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I look at, especially on Facebook's the one for me, because it seems that more of the inbred morons from the Forest of Dean and surrounding areas are on there. The Jeremy Kyle crowd, that kind of vibe, and the whole "I'm so pissed off right now, cuz," and then people comment underneath, "What's wrong, babe? Let me know. DM me," and all them fucking idiots. They use Facebook and Twitter and type like twats. Do you know what I mean? And that's not okay. That really pisses me off. But at the same time, I understand that there are some people who do know, who maybe aren't, their grasp of the English language isn't as great as, say, yours, Magsy, and they may make mistakes, and that happens.
Man is horrific.
Dan also says that one colleague who's been in the workplace almost as long as you have, but acts like a new starter when it can't be arsed, and then cries and pleads ignorance when confronted about pretending to not know stuff they definitely know. Stop weaponizing incompetence and your age. I feel Dan's got someone very specific in mind there.
Yes, and I feel he should lodge a grievance with HR about said person, because if they're getting paid and they're not pulling their weight, they should be reprimanded for said actions.
See, I feel Dan should name and shame live on a Monday night here at Chain Wrestling Live, rather than doing that.
Or use his time on the Volley Live to out this person whilst chewing his one chip challenge.
And tag them in it.
Yeah. And mention them specifically, giving names, addresses. Maybe that's a bit too far. Don't give addresses, but definitely name, company they work for, and exactly what they are not doing, so they know that they're an absolute lazy, scarving bastard.
There we go. There we go. MGB Graham. Literally right there, the snake. You just went past it, Bugsy. He says...
Oh, it's good cop, bad cop.
There we are. MGB Graham, at MGB Graham on Twitter. Being a maths teacher, getting tagged on social media for pictures like this multiple times. And for those on the audio version, it's the picture of a snake in a circle. And it says, what do you call a snake that is 3.14 meters long? Then underneath it says, you call it a python.
That's
Pi
horrific
is
joke.
it is. Pi is an irrational number, not 3.14. And yes, appropriately, it's irrational to be annoyed by this, but there we are. Irrational number. I don't quite understand what that means.
So it's basically a number that doesn't end. There's no end to it.
Yeah.
Pi is 3.1. People say it's 3.14, but it's actually like 3.1419, blah, blah, blah. And there's no end to the number.
Yeah, and it's literally... I get that. It never ends. I get that. But to abbreviate it, most people do refer to it as just being 3.14, don't they?
Yeah, but that pisses off Graham, the maths teacher.
So what does he want people to do? Write an indefinite... The person who put that joke together would still be writing it now. You've got to have a cut-off at some point.
Yeah, and the cut-off is the par symbol.
But then the joke won't work.
It's a shit joke anyway. Who cares if that joke works?
I swallowed at it when I read it, but never mind. Ja at Yam
simple
All
things
Right
amuse
on
simple
Twitter.
minds.
Yes, indeed. He says, used to work in a call center complaints department. Oh my God, I'm going to think of nothing worse.
I know.
Not just in a call center, in the complaints section.
You just quit your job, wouldn't you? You'd live on the streets.
You're just setting yourself up for misery, aren't you? You really are. I bet you're allowed to drink in that job. I bet everyone's got a bottle of whiskey in their drawer.
Just come in pissed. And the manager doesn't give a shit.
Must be.
Yeah.
Many caller arseholes, Jar says, but what's worse is the prick in the background, chipping in with annoying comments, but not having the balls to call themselves. And the sound of someone chewing food.
That I don't do the chewing food, that's rude. But the second part about not having the balls to call themselves, that I would call if I have to. But when the missus rings up to complain, I am the kind of person who will chip in the background, ranting and raving. Apologies, James. If I've ever ranted at you in the background, I apologise. But next time, make sure my fucking parcels are delivered on time, or I don't have to go halfway up the street to go and collect it.
It's like the what's his name? Lee Evans. It's like the bit from his stand-up, isn't it? When you got the builders round to work on your kitchen, and in the evening he gets home from work and he says, "You tell them builders from me, they're shit, love. You tell them from me, they're shit." And then he goes off to work, and then she's left with him and so on. And when he sees them, he's like, "Do you want a cup of tea, lads? You know, how's it going?" And all that sort of stuff. You know, it's that similar vibe, isn't it?
Two-faced. Two-faced.
We come to that time of the evening. It is Steve-O time at Elite FPL _ Steve-O. And he says, what noise are you making there? What are you doing?
Like Jaws. Because
Jaws?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is Jaws, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Or is it the guy from Lee Majors, from Jaws? Wasn't Jaws, it was Lee Majors.
Lee Majors isn't that good an actor. He can't play a big fucking fish. You'd notice it. Lee Majors was not in Jaws. It might have been in like Jaws 4 or something, because that was shit. There's loads of people randomly in that, but he was definitely not in Jaws. Steve-O says, FPL this season has been one of my very worst ever. Hated every minute of it, and it's been very difficult streaming about it. Doesn't help how bad Burnley were for 6 months either. Ah, indeed. Steve-O also says we're going to move on from the Burnley stuff because we've already had a conversation about that, Mags, haven't we? So
I was resigned to it 6 months ago.
Okay.
So it's just comes as a relief, and at least we're going to get some big money parachute payments.
Okay. That Steve-O continues. In my specific area, additionally, Mercedes, BMW, and Range Rover drivers, where it is the ludicrous, unnecessary manoeuvres they do, driving too close to you, bullying you off the road. This is a daily occurrence, and it's why I'm probably going to restart up a Dashcam YouTube channel. Yeah, it is a stereotype, isn't it? when you talk about the people who drive those kind of cars. But then when you see somebody act like a dickhead, we had somebody the other day just park across the front of our driveway. And it's just like, I'm looking at it, I'm like,
oh, I want to punch people who do that.
oh, we get it so often because we've got the Parry Hall thingy right opposite, and it functions as a youth club. It's a school on certain days for the naughty kids and so on to go to. It's a polling station when required. There's loads going on there. So people pick up and drop off, and they park in front of our house, and it pisses me off.
Mhm.
Drives me mad to the point where sometimes, if I'm seeing somebody for the first time and telling them to move their car, they're getting 3 years worth of pent-up aggression that I've had with other people.
Yeah.
And it's unnecessary how aggressive I am with them, but I can't help myself. I went out the other day because there was 2 blokes literally leant on our car, Magsy. Just leant on our car, having a chat. And I went,
I
must
mean,
look like
that's very, very ignorant.
yeah, and I was shouting, hey, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? And everyone else coming out, there's a church group as well. And they're the worst, believe it or not. Everyone else in the church group was turning around and looking at me, apart from these 2 blokes. So they can hear me. And I've walked over there, and I've still got my pajama bottoms on, and my hair's all over the place, and I've got the baby over my shoulder as well. I've gone, can I help you? Get off my fucking car, pal? What are you doing? Oh, we're so sorry. We didn't realise. Shut up, you
didn't
dickhead.
realise you were leaning against some other guy's car.
Absolutely fucking melts, mate. And they're all driving Mercedes and Audis and whatnot.
Well, we get it a lot in my area of Burnley. We get all the Range Rover drivers.
Need the 4-wheel drives to get out to visit you, don't they? Up that big hill.
Well, so we've just got a new car, Subaru Solterra. It's electric. Obviously, you know that we have electric cars, and we always get the arrogant wankers who have spent like a ridiculous amount of money on a car, and they think they own the road, and so we'll pull up at the side of them, and because electric is instant power rather than having to like rev your car and like boost up, we burn off any car on the road to like basically the lights. We'll beat any car, so we like to get in front of knobheads and then slowly bring them down to the actual speed limit, and it pisses them off no end. But it's your own fault because we're being a proper dickhead bully on the road. So
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Bully
indeed.
the bullies. That's what I like.
Steve-O continues. The cost of living. Oh, is it ever? It's beyond parody now. It just drives me up the wall how expensive basically things are. As mentioned on previous shows. Tins of tuna, slices of chicken, cereals, crisps, fast food, and goes on and on. It's just through the roof. And he's right. People can't live. People can't survive. It's insane. Absolutely insane. You just can't. You can't function, can you?
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it before on the show. Hans beans and Hans soup and any Hans product have gone absolutely ridiculously expensive to the point where I will actively not buy them, even if they bring the price down now, just for how much they try to swindle customers. Yeah, we're forever when we go shopping, me and the wife, looking at things and say, do you remember when these were 20p, or do you remember when these were £1, and now they're like £4 and £5? It's scandalous. I really, my heart goes out to people who are struggling so much that they have to choose between food or paying bills. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane, mate. Absolutely, it's heartbreaking. It's insane. Steve-O continues. People's social skills, and we did touch upon this a little bit earlier on, didn't we? Non-existent, Steve-O says. It's very hard, especially I've noticed with people aged mid to late 20s, the iPhone generation. Just cannot hold a conversation. Drives me mental. And that's when asking about them. Yeah, frustrating as hell. I hate it. You know, the ping, ping, ping on the phone, and they're picking it up and having a little. Oh, it drives me mad.
Yeah.
You know, I hate when you're talking to someone and they pick their phone up to message or answer a message. Or I hate it when you're having a conversation with somebody and they're typing.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if people say, "Oh, I heard you." You're concentrating on what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, some people can
you've been distracted.
multitask, don't get me wrong. Yeah, some people can multitask. I appreciate that. There's a select few who can do it. But I still get quite frustrated. You know? It's annoying.
That's because you're incredibly old. You're an old soul.
This is true. Steve also says he's finally moved out, albeit personal issues, but my now former housemate. I couldn't understand why talking loudly on the phone at 10, 11 o'clock, sometimes later at night, was unacceptable. No, he couldn't understand, sorry. I resorted to playing rain noise on my phone to block out the noise. Yeah, it must be a nightmare like house share. I was quite fortunate in the house share that I had once upon a time. The bloke who lived there, I got on really well with. As soon as we met, we clicked and we were saying. And then other people moved in who I already knew. But doing like a house share kind of thing with people that I can't imagine how difficult that must be.
Yeah, exactly. But there's etiquette in there, and if you're sharing a building with someone, when you're being loud at night, it's just ignorance. It's just absolute ignorance. Yeah, that guy would have quickly learned not to do that when you pissed in his milk.
Well, there you go. Steve continues. It's not just me, even though I'm the one highlighting it, but even my work colleagues are sick to death of seeing phone zombies. Oh, we're still on about that. Yeah, okay. It's once again beyond parody. This inherent need to stare at the phone whilst like walking, being in the gym, eating, and so on. It's tragic, to be honest. And then Steve says, I'll finish on a wrestling one. Sai highlighted it on the newest Nitro Nights. And in my opinion, today's last several years of wrestling, it's too fake for me. I can't get on board. I watched all of 1 minute of Strowman's return. It was too staged. And again, in my opinion, the fighting looked crap. Yeah, I struggle with modern day wrestling.
Is Strowman back?
Yeah, apparently.
Didn't know he'd gone. Didn't know he'd actually gone. That's me. That I'd never watched the weekly program anyway. So I'm avoid all that. I don't mind the monthly pay-per-views, but yeah, modern wrestling it's good for what it is. It's technically skillful, absolutely.
I mean, but these guys are probably more athletic now than they've ever been. To be fair.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. But I think it's lost a little bit of the storytelling because of that.
It's 100%.
It's now very much get your spots in compared to let's take this audience on an emotional journey. So yeah, I agree with him on that.
Yeah, there you go. And we have Ray. Oh my word! It's only 3 letters, but I'm gonna really. I don't know how do I say that.
I've got to find it first. I think his name in the chat is Karashi, so Ray Karashi.
Ah, okay. It's got a little umlaut thingy. I apologise, Ray. I'm so crap with this. And I think this is why the All Japan Tag Match got so many votes this week, because people want to see me struggle with 4 Japanese names. Because they know
they're not hard names though.
Well, we will see. Ray says, but you know my track record on this sort of thing. Yes. Ray says, "Here we go. People telling me wrestling is fake and judging me, and I legit slap back with them drooling over a show that has fucking dragons, Game of Thrones." Yeah, he's right. I hate. Oh, do you know that wrestling's fake? Oh, shut up, you bellend. You know what the fuck?
As if we didn't know. As if we didn't know. But did you know EastEnders is fake?
Yeah, and you watch fucking, the Marvel movies. Do you think that's real? What an absolute stupid thing to say. Dickheads. I sometimes like to. I put a response there. I sometimes like telling people that the real sports they're into are works, like boxing. You can virtually guarantee that something's going to happen in the Usyk Fury fight this weekend that will result in a rematch.
Oh yeah, it's this weekend, isn't it? Yeah.
So you tell me
they've signed on for 3 matches. They've signed a deal for 3 matches, 3 fights.
Oh, there you go. Why have they signed on for 3 matches? If it's all work, mate.
Yeah, because anyway, Fury said about Anthony Joshua he'll have to wait his turn because he's still got the Usyk matches to finish.
How can he say? How can they sign on for 3 matches in what's supposed to be a shoot? People have rankings, and it's all about the money.
It's the money.
It's a work. Ray continues. People put in their bags on the extra seat on public transport and then look offended when I tell them to move it for me to sit down. Oh yeah, those people are ignorant as shit. Absolutely ignorant as shit. And of course, tapping into what Steve-O was saying, they've always got headphones on. So they look out the window and pretend they haven't seen. I'm a massive fucking big, tall, fat dude, and they always act like they haven't seen me. Bollocks, you haven't seen me.
And then you can also hear their music like leaking through.
Like that, innit?
Mm-hmm. So
Crap.
it's horrible. Yeah. It's crap music as well.
Ray continues, walking and people standing on the centre of the pavement, then when waiting for the bus. Yeah, just being ignorant again comes down to not thinking about people, doesn't it?
It's all about them. They're the main character in the story. That's what it is.
The toilet roll feeding from under. It should be over for him.
Yes.
He says
Yes.
OCD.
Yes.
But that's actually true, because the person who, it's funny, I watched an episode of QI last night. I don't normally watch QI, I just put it on it randomly, and it spoke about the person who invented the toilet roll holder and the patent that he put in, the design for the thing that everyone now uses. It's paper away from the wall.
Mm-hmm.
It's the way it should be done. So there you go. Ray also says, FPL related, individuals only post their scores when they do well. Cowards. Fair enough.
I mean, I generally do and get excited for FPL, and then about 3 or 4 weeks in, I get bored of it, and I don't ever change my team or post my scores or check my scores.
Yeah, I do the same thing, and I get really frustrated that I forget my password quite often. I must have God knows how many accounts out there. Recency bias of new films being the greatest ever, like Oppenheimer. It's good, but not Godfather worthy. Yeah, fair enough.
True. Very, very
and it is
true.
a recency bias. It is people go, "Oh, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Look at this," and whether it's music, computer games, whatever. It's
I mean, we all have it. We all have recency bias.
I don't. I like everything that's old.
Yeah, because you are from the age of Methuselah. That's why.
Ray also says Drake being compared to the likes of Tupac in hip hop. That's just embarrassing. I don't know enough about hip hop to know, but I know I don't like Drake.
More embarrassing for Drake is the fact he's been absolutely schooled by Kendrick Lamar in a battle diss recently, where he's been outed as potentially being a pedo and having kids that he's not telling people about. So yeah, Drake's a knobhead. He's a pop artist who says words that rhyme.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. To be honest, but until you started talking about, he's wrote songs about him being a pedo and calling him out for stuff, and you were saying things like Drake, diss, and that and the other. I didn't. It just sounded like a load of words to me. I don't really know what you're on about.
So you must have heard of rap beefs and disses, where they release a song that disses off, that like basically slates off whoever they're arguing with. Well, Drake and Kendrick Lamar have upped the ante over this last couple of weeks. So usually you would have one person writing a song about another rapper, and then you might hear from that other rapper a week or two later writing their own. Drake and Kendrick Lamar were releasing tracks like 5 or 6 hours after each other. Literally like half a dozen diss tracks released in like a weekend. Yeah, proper slating into each other. They both went in hard, but Drake got absolutely bitched.
Why? Okay, interesting. I know I wasn't aware of that sort of thing. I know about people writing about it, but yeah, that sort of level. And Ray finishes with last one. He says, "When my football shirts are not in team alphabet order, if multiple, like Arsenal, they need to be in the year of release." And that's quite OCD, but I can get on board with that. I'm like that with my music.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds perfectly reasonable to me. I don't see what the issue is.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Good cop, bad cop, and I'm noticing the time, Magsy. We need to crack on, don't we? Because we've got 2 matches.
Well, if it weren't for the senior ref coming to us looking for cheap therapy from the ranting, let's go crack on with it.
Wrestling podcast. This just pisses me off, but sure, Mags will like it as he just shines a torch on his steak to cook it. And it's a whole list here about how different people who have their steak behave in different ways at restaurants with regards to the tips they have and so on, isn't it?
Yeah. That the bottom 5 of those steaks are overdone.
I would have maybe the top one and then maybe the one underneath. Probably the one underneath, but no darker than that.
No, all of them are overcooked for me.
All of them, all 5.
All 5 are overcooked.
So you just go out into a field and bite an animal.
No,
Is that how you get it as raw as you
I
need?
cook a steak as nature intended it to be. But I would be right. Orders, drinks, appetizer, good conversation. I mean, tipping 20%. We're not a tipping nation, really, are we? But if I've had good service, yeah, I'll throw in a decent tip for him.
Yeah, like get your haircut, something like that.
Do you tip when you go restauranting?
It's very rare I go restauranting. Let's be honest, mate. But if I would leave a bit extra, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I try and in that scenario, I'll try and leave a bit of cash because some people work it into how much they're paying on the card and so on, don't they?
Definitely.
Yeah,
And that the company gets that of them.
Yeah, so the better way of doing it, isn't it? To leave a bit of cash for the young lass or lad who's been serving you, innit?
Pocket it, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Matt Butler at Trey Butler on Twitter. He says, "What pisses me off? ? Mrs. Wife." Okay, straight to the point. Mrs. Wife's inability to tidy after herself, and then listening to myself getting pissed off at all of the above. That can piss off as well. Pissing journalists saying Man City are going to piss the league when they are being willfully ignorant of our pissing form away at Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. I still think Man City are going to win the league, but
I think so as well.
It's multi-packs that don't come with at least 7 days worth of produce. Everything comes in packs of 6.
Some now come in packs of 5, and that fucking grinds me as well.
Because on the Lord's Day, thou shalt not have the 7th pack of wheat crunches because they just run pissing out, haven't they? Mate,
they do it to make you buy a second pack. That's why.
If in my house, if we buy wheat crunches as a good example, if we buy a multi-pack of wheat crunches and there's 6 in there, that's not lasting the day because there's 4 of us who live here. You know? Yeah. So everyone's going to have one bag, and then I always look at it and go, I'll have another one later, and they go, you know?
Yeah. Or you think, everyone's had a bag. There's only 2 left. We might as well polish them off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're not proper bags anymore because you open them up and it's 95% air. You might get 2 wheat crunches. Oh,
now you're bothered about the 95% air. Slag me off when it's air raw, but now it's
but it's different with chocolate, isn't it? Oh, for goodness sake. I feel experiments coming on with crisps and arrows and stuff. We can figure out a special for that. Matt continues. Schofferhofer drinks? Schofferhofer? Is that how you say that? I don't know what that is.
No idea. It sounds quite German, so I'm going to assume it's some sort of lager beer.
Well, they piss him off, apparently. They are delicious and refreshing and come in wonderful flavours. Okay. But at 2.2%, they are the least manly drink I could be seen with outside in my garden. Why can't they be respectable like John Smith's and be 3.4% volume for a real manly man? Interesting, he went with something that was 3.5% as his manly man drink, but that's not the important point here. 2.2% Schoffer.
That's like the strength of a brew, of like a coffee. 2.2% is you would die of like hypoxia quicker than you would get pissed.
So what is Schofferhofer? Have you looked it up?
No, have a shout. So, do you want me to have a look it up? Because we are pressing for time.
Don't worry about it.
Schofferhofer. It's they make a German premium wheat beer. Okay. They make a grapefruit one. Yeah.
So it's like these Ponzi IPAs that Dan Griffin drinks and that, innit?
Craft ales. The old craft ale.
Yeah, like vanilla and ballsack
and they've got stupid names that don't have any link to what they actually are.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, I'm glad we cleared that up. Matt Butler continues. Anyone under 20 pisses him off. Cool. They don't know how good they've got it, and that pisses me off. Not even realizing that they don't
that's
have
one
wrinkles.
of my bugbears.
What's that?
Just the younger generation nowadays, when they complain about something, and you think, 20 years ago, you have absolutely no idea whatsoever. It's when you used to have to make your own fun outside because there was nothing to do, and they complain, "Oh, I haven't got the latest game," or
I want an Xbox. I want a PlayStation. Yeah. I want the new iPhone because it's got this on it and this on it. Honestly, we'd have a fantastic weekend when we were kids, Maxie, wouldn't we? If we just found a really interesting stick, that'd be a brilliant Saturday.
One of the most entertaining stuff we used to do as a kid was finding a leaking drain pipe and seeing who could hold their head under that water for the longest before getting brain freeze. That's the kind of entertainment we used to have.
Oh dear me. Matt continues. I only get a small comfort from knowing that one day they'll be in their 40s and I'll be pissed off too.
Yeah, I hate being
So there
in
we
the
go.
40s. Being in the 40s is the worst. You know, I've had to start taking cod liver oil because my joints hate me. My joints and my bones and organs hate me.
Yeah, Shah bought me some of that, but I keep forgetting to take it, so I just still hurt.
That's the dementia and the Alzheimer's.
Yeah, I need. Do they make cod liver oil for dementia?
No.
Oh, here's my good lady now passing me a cup of tea. Thank you, Shireen.
You should just start slipping it into your brew.
You reckon? There's cod liver oil in my tea now, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, for my dementia. Maxie, we need to scan through the chats because we've had lots of comments about what we've been discussing. And then we've got 2 wrestling matches to cover because you are all bastards. And it's already 25-10. Come on.
So Steve-O said, let's just run through these. Steve-O says, I don't think you specified in that X post about what pees us off and not others. I mean, it's just anything that pisses anyone off, as you all have said for the last literally 50 minutes of a section.
I mean, if I did not put that out correctly, I apologise. That's my error. I am sorry.
Richard Stock says, pees me off having to adapt to the different names for alleyways when moving around to live in different areas. Ginnell, Snicket, 10-foot, aforementioned alley. Well, it's Ginnell. None of them others are words, really. So stick with Ginnell.
Ali.
It's Ginnell. No Player Left Behind says, a lot of work going on behind the scene, but it soon will be live. But ultimately, it's a gaming channel. We'll have lots of live streams of classic and new games, as well as pre-recorded series of games, and eventually a podcast talking game news and technology news for gamers. Doesn't matter what games you like, we believe no player should be left behind. I want a farming simulator 22 stream weekly, Benny.
Weekly, yeah. Want to see how his farm is going along. And
then he says, but it's a work in progress, and hopefully we'll find its identity as we go. King Pig Banner says Goldbridge is hilarious. Yeah, but he doesn't think he's hilarious. He thinks he's genuinely like upset, and I just like to laugh at him. Connor says Casemiro shouldn't be playing centre back. That's not his natural position. He shouldn't. He should be playing central defensive mid, but he's been forced back due to so many injuries to centre backs, and also the fall off of Casemiro has been absolutely outstanding. He's gone from being amazing to being total wank.
I mean, also, I'm fully aware of all that, Connor. I'm fully aware of it. Trust me, I watch United all the time. I invest in my club, and I'm aware of all their shortcomings, and I know why we're in the situation we're in. But this guy's played for Brazil. God knows how many times he's won.
Captain
what feels like he's won what feels like 98 Champions Leagues and so on. He knows the fucking offside rule. When the ball gets played forward, fucking run, lazy bastard.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And then Connor says Martinez and Lindelof injuries didn't do any favours this season. I mean, it is what it is. You can't. Yeah, everyone gets injuries. Steve-O says, coincidentally, as you're reading out Connor's footy rant, Salah has just missed a sitter.
Okay.
Richard says Europa Conference League where the big boys play. Brilliant. Ray said that the sitter was actually offside. Connor says he went back into retail in December. Oh my fucking god! But I do remember the barcode for the cream egg. When customers moan about the price in your store and talk to you as if you have any fucking say in it. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
If you don't like the price,
he's right.
Go and find it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Go and get it cheaper, you tosser. Total Steve-O says, I feel King Pig Bladder's pain. He said, Did all them barbers not get raided recently?
Yeah, some of them did. Yeah, some of them did. There was a big thing. It was like 4 or 5 of them got raided, and one of them, it was either a barber's or an off license or something. One of them actually had a whole fake wall that they took down, and behind it was millions of pounds worth of cigarettes, just all
Don't you
imported, legally.
snardy bastards.
Like a whole room hidden.
That's mental. Total Stereo says, in my area, there are 19 types of hairdressers. 19. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, it's a lot of so much money laundering. It's unreal. Ray says it's magical watching this segment live. Well, we are glad that you enjoy it. It's therapeutic to a lot of people.
Not me, but yeah.
No, you hate it. You absolutely detest it. Benny says it annoys me when working in the shop when a customer doesn't ask a direct question, more moans near you, like, I wonder where the apples are. Well, they're over there, you fucking clown. If you use your eyes or see the signs where it says fruit and veg, you'll find a fucking apple.
Yes, indeed.
Mags knows words. He does know words, some words. Sharon says, I'm with Mags, use proper words. Ironically, there she put a comma in the wrong place. So, Sharon, dear. Ray wants some naming and shaming by Dan Griffin. So yeah, again,
yes.
Benny, this is like an irrational podcast segment. Yeah, because it goes on and on. He then says, so Mags is the guy that does the job on the podcast. Yep. And Sai's the guy pretending he doesn't know how to do it. Yep. Even though Sai has done the most amount of episodes of Chain Wrestling as Mags, no, he's actually done more because I had a scarf for a few weeks. So Sai has actually been here for every episode.
Yeah,
yep, every single episode. Yeah,
I don't know how to do that whole screen sharing thing. That's the bit that screws me up. So,
or the clicking buttons for videos and pictures and things like that.
I can do that, but then we just found out today I can't hear them. So what's the point?
Yeah, so it's pointless to you. Captain Birdseye says, is it time to get rid of capitalism? That's a big question. Not really got time to go in it yet, but I don't think it's a time to get rid of capitalism. It's time to get rid of a government that has been absolutely ripping us off and doing it in front of our faces. So maybe that's the idea. And Sharon said he's aiming that at mainly me. I don't think she means the capitalism. It's probably something that you said.
I think she's referencing the typing on your phone whilst talking.
Does Sharon do that a lot?
She does that.
Change the Wi-Fi password.
Right, okay.
So I mean, this is a segue. One time, Mrs. Mags was very into Facebook. She's kind of not into it now. But she would be like, Sharon would wear her face was buried in her phone, doom scrolling Facebook. So I, being the semi-technical wizard that I am, I actually RP blocked Facebook from my router, so nobody in the house could get onto Facebook. It just would not let you get onto it. Yeah, she was not a happy Mrs. Mags that day.
Well, Sharon's not that bad.
Steve O says, ironically today, he treated himself to a KFC, 2 barbecue burgers, 13 quid. Fuck off. That's scandalous. Even McDonald's is ridiculous. I mean, I'm not a massive lover of McDonald's. I don't like the processed meat, but when a double cheeseburger is like 3 quid, that's fucking ridiculous.
Insane.
So Ray has basically slated you off for not saying his name properly, and he says Gao means bear in Vietnamese. He lived there for 4 years. Oh, that's cool. Nice. King Pigballer says, Saar rumbled on the reason for the 50-50. It's a rubber match deal. So we have to do it again and again. That's why. And he says, Ray says, thank you. King Pigballer says, nothing wrong with vanilla and ballsack beer. Grim. Ray says, I used to work at a place that created Bavarian beer in the Elephant and Castle. Next level. It's not a thing for me. Beer, craft beers, like lagers in general, just tastes like pissy earwax. Benny says 2.2%. There's more alcohol in the Shandy Bass. Then Ray says, oh my God, all nighters tonight. Yeah, it's you guys' fault, not you particularly, Ray. It's you guys' fault in general for getting so angry at like banal things. And then King Pig Brother says Twitchell. No idea why. Is that
for
a
the
beer?
alleyway thing.
Oh, is that what they call it? Is ends? It's Ginnell. Stop this. Sharon says I've got a shit ton of mobile data. Yeah, but if ERP blocks Facebook
Brilliant.
on your phone, no more Facebook for you.
Oh, don't touch it.
And then Benny says change the Wi-Fi so I can barely use the laptop. Well, yeah, that is true. He used the last laptop and it basically blew it up.
Yeah.
Final one. Pissy earwax. Yep, that's exactly what people can taste the nuances in lager. I don't. It just tastes grim, horrific. So yeah, I'm not a lager guy.
There we go. Thank you so much again, everybody.
Amazing.
We say it every week, but it's only because we mean it so much for all of the responses to the non-wrestling topic, all of the votes for the poll for deciding where we go each week, and all the comments in the chat on the live show as well. Honestly, we say it all the time, but it rings true. That's why this show does not exist if it's not for you.
Exactly.
Maxie.
I mean, just before we go on to the match or matches. Yeah, we personally, Si and I say every week that that episode was the best. And it's not the best because of us, because we're two fucking clowns who just waffle shit for a couple of hours. It's the best because of you guys, because you guys turn up each and every week and you just make the show 100 times better than it would be without with just us there. So thank you so much for, like I said, for sticking by us. We absolutely love you for it. Shall we talk some wrestling?
Let's do it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
See, that time it just sounded like Buffo was having a stroke to me, but there we go. Right, the poll was a 50-50. You bastards.
Wankers.
And it's not even like they're short matches. They're pushing half hour each, aren't they?
Yeah.
Maxie, where do you want to start?
Let's go to Japan.
Okay, that works well, because that's the page on my little notebook I've got open.
Brilliant.
My little Scooby-Doo notebook. So there we go. All Japan Tag League, 1997. The 27th of November, 1997, to be precise. And we have the teams of Hayabusa and Shinzaki, who come out first. And then we have Misawa and what was that guy's name? Akiyama. Was that how you pronounce his surname?
Jun Akiyama, yeah.
Yeah, and he seemed much younger than the other three, didn't he? He was quite a young guy, it seemed.
Yeah. He looked like almost like he was a heartthrob, like a Japanese heartthrob.
Okay. When Hayabusa and Shinzaki come out, there's not masses of response from the crowd, but I think that runs through a lot of the match until we get near the end, because it's a very respectful Japanese crowd, isn't it? It's what they do.
That's what Japanese crowds do. They have signs about not shouting out and not like embarrassing yourself. It's very, very polite, clapping and oohs and haws.
Yeah, there we go. Where's his tattoos gone, first of all? Because when he was in the WWF, he was covered in tattoos.
Yeah, he fucked them right off. He had lots and lots of laser surgery to get rid of them.
Lots of laser surgery. He's hardcore, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
We do get chanting, though, for Misawa when he comes to the ring. And this guy's a star, isn't it? This guy's an absolute, he is fantastic in the ring. But here in All Japan in 97, they worship this man, don't they?
Yeah, he's a god. He's on the levels of Giant Barber and what's the other guy called? Why have I forget it? Inoki. They worship him, and they are right to do so. The guy is such an amazing wrestler.
Yeah, right. I don't. Hayabusa and Akiyama start, and the noise of the Misawa chants and the applause and all that, just literally the bell rings, and it felt like, when the bell rings, and I think it was AEW used to do it, the camera would zoom in a bit and then all the lights would come down, and visually it would be like, okay, everyone concentrate now.
Here we go.
Here, here it felt like that, but the audio version, the bell would ring, and everyone just kind of went into this hush as the match started. It was a surreal
like,
thing.
It was like a cinema, like when you'll hear all that the crisp packet opening and the popcorn rustling, but then when the trails are over and the main film comes on, it suddenly becomes dead quiet. It was kind of like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, early on, it's, I suppose, what you might refer to as having certain regular Japanese spots. There's chops, there's forearms. It's quite physical. We do get a couple of nip-ups from Hayabusa as well. He seems very keen to be showing off his ability to move a bit quicker and a bit more aerial than his opponents, I think.
Every time he did a spot that was like a half flyer, he got massive applause from the crowd. So they really appreciated him.
Yeah, totally. We have a drop kick from him as well, which was pretty spectacular. And then a middle rope sort of backflip back inside because he sent his opponent outside. He makes it look like he's going to dive on them, lands on the middle rope, and then flips back into the ring. And the Japanese crowd love this guy, don't they? He is, out of all of them, I mean, Misawa has obviously got the respect.
He's absolutely flexing. Yeah.
Misawa's obviously got the legendary status here, but this guy, I think he's the star in this match. He's the guy who gets the reactions from the crowd quicker than anyone else, I think.
Yeah, he's the MVP, absolutely, and it's almost like he's bringing something to Japanese wrestling that this crowd has never seen before. The way they reacted to some of the stuff that he does, but. This match was 21, 22 minutes long, and it felt very different to a normal wrestling match because in a match that long, you would have like periods where one person or one team are on top for a while, and then you get like the babyface in peril kind of stuff. For me, in this match, for at least the first 10, maybe 12 minutes, it was very back to back. No one really took control for at least for extended periods of time. It was all the four wrestlers got their stuff in, got the chance to be on the offensive and also was defensive. It was really interesting to see a match laid out that way.
I don't know enough about these guys' careers or this time frame either, but I felt these were four baby faces because in the way these tag leagues work and the way these like the G1 for the singles and all that as well is you face whoever's in your group, don't you? Babyface, heel versus heel. I get the impression that these four guys were maybe not all, the white meat babyface with the standard of a Misawa, but they're all on some level up and down the card popular with the crowd. So it almost felt for a while that they were finding their feet with regards to we can't have one team selling too much because the aspect it puts on the
Everyone
other team with heel heat maybe. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. It just felt different. That there was no team that was taking the lead and no team that would. There was no kind of like you've got to get your heat back and things like that. It just felt, as Pig's Bladder says in the chat, felt very back and forth. For no one really took the lead in the match, and maybe that was a thing they did on purpose because it felt like they were four very popular wrestlers, so you don't want to particularly bury one over the other. So yeah, maybe that was the planning behind it.
Yeah, potentially. Shinzaki gets sent over the top rope, and the pace quickens a little bit on the outside. Then it's quite vicious as well when they're smashing through the crowd barriers and so on. This is quite good. Eventually, we're back in the ring though, and we have the one team working over Misawa's arm for, I wouldn't say a great deal of time, because like you said, they chop and change and tag in and out quite quick. But this is probably the longest period in the early parts of the match where one team is on top. And it's all to do with arm bars and hammerlocks and working over Misawa's arm, isn't it, Max?
Yeah, and the match takes so many kind of different turns. There'll be periods where it's very much ground-based, kind of technical wrestling. And then you'll get a little burst of high energy, half-flying, skillful wrestling. And then you'll get some Japanese strong style literally beating the living piss out of each other wrestling. So it doesn't stay to one style for very long. It's essentially a match for everyone. It's mental.
It is. We get a moment with Shinzaki in the ring, go to the outside. No, sorry, Misawa he teases going to the outside, but bounces onto the ropes and lands back inside. But it eventually leads to Shinzaki taking Misawa's arm and doing like the old school Undertaker top rope spot, but he walks like right basically half the ring, doesn't he? Two or three sides of the ring.
It does, and it's cool looking spot, but why didn't Akiyama knock him off? That was weird.
He got out of his way.
He literally walked past it. He got out of the way. But great spot, absolutely great spot.
It ends with Misawa turning it into an arm drag anyway. So all that top rope walking meant jack shit.
Get your spots in. Get your spots in.
Yeah. Before Misawa, being he, turns and then just eats a super kick from Shibata. From Shinzaki, doesn't he? He just, absolutely smashed in the face. And then they apply a nerve hold. And I'm thinking, oh no, here we go. Oh no, bloody nerve holds. Is this the way we're going to go? Thankfully, that didn't last too long. Misawa does eventually tag out. But even then, there's like almost a lack of urgency in the first half of the match. There's no diving for the hot tag. There's like a little tag. And does that make sense?
Yeah, I think there's one point in the whole match where somebody saw having a coughing fit there, taking my lead. I think there's one point in the match where there's a what you would call a hot tag, and that's when Shinzaki's being beat down and he tags in Hayabusa. But other than that, the tags are usually pretty respectful. I mean, the wrestlers part and they allow the tag to happen and they allow the other wrestler to get into the ring. So it is a very respectful match. And that's 10 minutes. We've seen 10 minutes, and this has been 5 different styles of wrestling matches all wrapped into one. It's hard to put into words just how different this match is to most tag team matches.
Yes, indeed. We see a pile driver by Akiyama that was quite vicious. We're back on the outside again. There's more fighting there and smashing into crowd barriers and so on. Akiyama gets his knees up on a Shinzaki splash as well before he tags Misawa in, who then hits a senton for 2. And the crowd pop big time when he hits this senton splash, don't they? They love that.
It looks horrific as well, though, because
it looks like he proper squidges him.
Yeah, there's no part of Misawa's body that takes the brunt of it on the ring.
Like
it's all on Shinzaki. And this leads to like a little section where Shinzaki is the face in peril, essentially, where they're attacking like his stomach with like gut busters and things like that. And that's where you get the one hot tag of the match when he pulls off the reverse enziguri, the enziguri to the back of, I think it's Akiyama's head, and then they go for the getting your heat back spot, but he literally just does a jumping dive and tags in Hayabusa, and then Hayabusa, I think this is the point where he does the springboard forearm, and it looks so crisp, and then there's a Owen Hart style spinning wheel kick. This is where it kind of like starts picking up, and you can see the power moves coming into play, and you feel like the end of the match is due because everyone's starting to hit their big spots. Yeah.
And again, we come back to Hayabusa, don't we, with regards to the big spots. There's a Frankenstein.
This is where he takes over.
Moonsaults. It is. Again, you think this is 1997. Now, I'm not saying what he's doing is groundbreaking and never been seen before, but when you look at the other guys in the match and the crowd reactions to what they're seeing, it does feel that this is new to them, potentially. I don't know. I mean, the cruiserweights division, the light heavyweights, junior heavyweights, whatever they're called. You're going to see spots like this, but this guy's a big old lump, isn't he? He's doing
Yeah.
stuff that it's pretty spectacular. And of course, he's got the mask and the face paint on under the mask and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty spectacular, isn't it?
He carries the match with 3 other amazingly talented wrestlers in, so that just goes to show just how outstanding he was. I mean, some of the things that he pulls off. I mean, he does a Phoenix splash at one point. He does a 450, and they're all crisp and clean. He does a standing Frankensteiner, which is absolutely beautiful looking.
Moonsault to the floor as well.
Yeah, from the middle rope as well. He does the bouncing moon rope. Yeah, it's just the guy is super talented.
But all of it is just for 2 counts, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot of 2.9s.
Yeah. Both teams exchange a couple of power bombs then, which again lead to 2 counts. But the near falls and the 2 counts, they're accelerating now, aren't they? They're getting more and more to them. And then almost out the blue, Akiyama pins Hayabusa with a kind of almost like a sort of Taz style suplex, like an exploder suplex, doesn't he? He hits one suplex and pins him.
He hits the exploder earlier in the match, kind of like in the build up. So like I mentioned earlier, you get all like the big moves, the 450, the Phoenix. I think there's a Tiger Driver in there, Falcon Arrow. So they're all started to hit them.
Falcon Arrow, my word.
The big moves. Akiyama does the Blue Thunder Bomb to Hayabusa, which is just saved at the last minute from Shinzaki. Then he drops a big diving elbow, which hits Hayabusa on the back of the head, and that's when he pulls out the first exploder suplex. Hayabusa is able to kick out. Then Akiyama, I think one of his signature moves was the jumping knee, which that's countered into a Frankensteiner. Akiyama almost gets pinned. Then lands another elbow. Then we get the second exploder. I think Shinzaki was, if you look in the corner, his hand is just coming into the ring to kind of do the same breakup as he did with the first exploder, but Misawa is like holding him back.
Yes.
So that's where the finish of the match comes.
Yeah. So I suppose all that's left now, before we get on to our second match, is to rate it, give it our usual out of 10 marking system. Maxie, what have you got, mate? Because this is a little bit different to what we have been watching in recent times. There's a lot going on as well. And then sometimes there's not as much going on, but even then it's different. What are your thoughts and what's your rating?
Yeah, I thought it was very different to a lot of the tag team matches that we've covered. It usually when I'm watching fairly long matches, I can kind of drift sometimes, and I'll have to rewind and watch. This had my attention all the way through because it changed so many times, and I was almost like those Japanese fans, like, "Ooh, wow, that's amazing." Okay. I loved it. I thought it was a brilliant match, a really technically almost perfect match. Yeah, I loved it. So I'm happy giving that a 9. I thought that was a brilliant match.
As high as that? Okay. I've got 8, which is still relatively high. I thought it was great. It was entertaining. It was really good. I think I might have got more out of it if I knew more about the guys in the match. My ignorance to some of these guys probably didn't help the situation, but bell to bell, I thought it was fantastic. It didn't. In the past, I've struggled watching matches with Japanese commentary. I didn't even notice by the end of this because I was that engrossed, which is a testament to how great these guys were. And Hayabusa, man, that guy was something special, wasn't he?
Oh, he was talent, such talent.
He was an absolute star. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me on that front. I suppose we move on now to your selection, Magsy.
Yes.
Do you want to talk us through this one?
Yeah, I mean, this was Survivor Series 2018. This was in the little era where we were getting Raw versus SmackDown style matches, and we were getting champion versus champion matches. I think the year before, the 2017, was Brock versus AJ Styles, and there was a running storyline where AJ Styles had beaten everybody into the run up to the 2018 Survivor Series, wanting that second shot at Brock Lesnar because Brock was the only person who had beat him in that whole year. Daniel Bryan came out to the ring. He mentions that he respects AJ Styles, but AJ needs to stop mentioning him in his comments because Paul Heyman, the little devious shit stirrer, had always been comparing AJ to being just that little bit worse of a wrestler than Daniel Bryan. And this was like in the beginning of the Daniel Bryan heel turn, where we get Captain Planet and the wooden title. So on the sorry, I apologize for that. On the SmackDown before this event, Daniel Bryan challenged AJ Styles for a title match and ended up winning it. So we'd have been billed to get AJ versus Brock 2, and that didn't end up happening. We ended up getting Daniel Bryan versus Brock. And to be fair to Brock, he tends to do some of his best work when he's fighting a little guy. He's so good at bullying other wrestlers, and then they get their amazing comeback. And
we did that here, though, didn't we? I think that's done really, really well in this match. The story they tell in this match is fantastic for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, also in the build up to this, there's a little vignette that runs that says "Coming soon, Lars Sullivan." So I wonder how that's going to work out.
Got my eyes on that chap.
Yeah, but this is a weird time for me when I see the entrances because there's no pyro at this point, is there? This is when they stopped the pyro,
and there's no augmented reality.
No, well, we're getting the graphics though, aren't we? The Brock Lesnar graphic thing was there.
Oh, was it? Oh,
yeah,
must have missed that. Okay.
Yeah, because I remember I saw it and I was like, "This is 6 years ago." Have they had those that long? It really surprised me.
Wow. Did Daniel Bryan get one then?
I don't think so.
Well, Brock is the guy. That's why.
Yeah. Michael Cole was an idiot at the start. He says that £210 Daniel Bryan is giving up nearly £100 in weight difference to the £265 Brock Lesnar. Literally seconds after those weights were given.
I mean, you look at Daniel Bryan and there's no way that guy's £210.
No, definitely not. That's what he was announced at, but definitely not.
Yeah. I remember him being announced and Brock at 265 because you get the Paul Heyman introduction where he looks like he's going to praise Daniel Bryan, and then he goes, "Yeah, the best pound for pound wrestler in the world, Brock Lesnar."
Yeah, indeed. Some little shithousery stuff from Daniel Bryan starting out, isn't it?
Well, he's big. I mean, that's sensible. If you were in Daniel Bryan's position and you're facing this animal wrestler who's just been destroying people, you've got to start hot, and you've got to chop that redwood down, as Michael Cole likes to say.
He does a little bit on the outside, as Lesnar's doing his laps to the ring he used to do before getting on, almost taunting him. And then in the ring, he does a little sort of mock Lesnar jog kind of thing, which was quite funny.
It kind of looked like a chimp as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like because he's got very long arms for his body length. So he did, and obviously the big hairy face and bushy hair. He looked like an orangutan doing a dance.
He did indeed. Daniel Bryan goes for a kick quite early on. And just gets absolutely walloped by Lesnar straight off the bat when Lesnar finally manages to get hold of him, because they take a few minutes to get to that, don't they?
Yeah, well, that's how it starts. Daniel Bryan does the running drop kick straight away to Brock's knee, and then spends all that that couple of minutes essentially avoiding Brock and really kind of frustrating him. But then he goes to attack again, and Brock just catches him and just clotheslines him essentially out of his skin, and then does a suplex, and then Brock suplex city tries to get the chant going. The crowd ain't buying it, but he just ragdolls Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, he carries him round like a child.
Yeah, it's so good.
And he's literally throwing him from one corner to the other over and over and over again. German suplexes, overhead belly to belly. That he launched him with that overhead belly to belly.
Flies, doesn't he? He absolutely flies.
Yeah, he's just absolutely tossing Daniel Bryan around like a I can't even think of what you would toss around that much.
I don't. Daniel Bryan eventually ends up on the outside of the ring. When he's thrown back in by Lesnar, he just rolls out the other side as well.
Yeah, well, you get a really good camera shot as well of Daniel Bryan, his head just hanging off the apron, thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? He's going to kill me. You can see the veins popping out of his head. He's out of breath. He's all bright red. And yeah, this was like, I have bitten off way more than I can chew.
I have made a massive, massive mistake here.
I regret this.
Done. He looks absolutely done, doesn't he, at this stage? He looks out of it. And then my heart sank a little bit because Brock applies a bear hug. And we all know, if you're new to the show,
you loves a bear hug.
Oh my God, I bloody hate it. It's so boring and simplistic. But,
he does it multiple times, though.
But here, I don't know if it's the way Lesnar applied it. I don't know if it's the way Daniel Bryan sold it. I don't know if it's the combination of the whole thing. Here, didn't bother me at all. I didn't mind it at all. It looked great. It made sense in the match. I didn't mind the bear hug spot at all.
I think it's because he doesn't particularly use it as a rest hold. I mean, we're from the generation where we know that that's a move to get your breath and maybe talk a little bit around the match. Brock doesn't do that. He literally bear hugs and then rags Daniel Bryan around like an actual bear would probably do to you if it was trying to eat you.
I mean, one of the occasions he applies the bear hug, he actually then just decides, I had enough of this, and just launches him from the bear hug position into a suplex across the ring again. My goodness.
He does that twice. He does it with a German, then gets the bear hug again, and then does another belly to belly.
Yeah, without a doubt. We then get a bit more of Lesnar talking to the camera. Now, I quite enjoyed this when Lesnar is in this killer role and when he'd shout stuff at the camera. He always be able to find the hard cam to do it. And he picked him up, ready to put him into an F5, and basically said, good night, everybody. He's done. He's signing his check. He's taking his money. His evening's work is completed. He hits the F5, and then he picks him up on 2. And this is just the most nasty heel monster bullshit ever. Oh, it's so good, man. It's so good. Daniel Bryan then starts getting a few kicks in and starts almost getting an opportunity. Before he fights back a bit before Lesnar's like, oh shit, okay, I need to nip this in the bud properly now.
Yeah, he's angered. Basically, Brock was having fun, realized that he took a little bit, he's given Daniel Bryan a little bit too much, and now it's let's kill this little fucker, and does another F5.
Yeah, but he bumps the ref, doesn't he? He bumps the ref, which you could see come in. It's a little criticism I got of this match. The ref stood literally, he was sticking his head out like this, going, go on then, hit me with the F5, and he's waiting for it. And it felt a bit forced, a bit predetermined. Obviously, it is predetermined, but we like to have our suspension of disbelief here on the show, don't we? And it was a bit obvious, Max, for me.
Yeah, but it does lead to Brock getting kicked in the bollocks, which
that was funny.
Yeah, and he took that.
Go mad.
He took the way Brock took it though. I mean, it folded him in half. It lifted him off his feet. Daniel Bryan proper volleyed those nuts. It was really well done. And Bryan's got a chance now. He might have a chance.
Yeah. But this is livened everyone back up again, because by this point, I'm not saying the crowd are bored, but they've seen what they're watching before, haven't they? This is a Lesnar title match, and Lesnar does this. And
this is Lesnar coffee over and over again.
Yeah, there we go. But no, Daniel Bryan's showing a bit of fire. He's done the whole nut shot, and he's giving out some stomps and some kicks and so on. Before we get another F5, don't we? Where Daniel Bryan attempts the running knees. That was a move he was going for, wasn't it? And Lesnar grabs him and turns it into an F5 attempt.
But Daniel Bryan is able to get out of that and sends Brock Lesnar to the floor.
Yes, which is brilliant because the knee is obviously really iconic and something that is very recognisable from Daniel Bryan's repertoire. The F5, everyone knows what that is. And then we get a bit more of it, don't we, as well, when we're going from an F5 into the submission holds and so on. It's really recognisable for the fans in attendance what the move is they're going into. And I think keeping it simple works so well in this environment because it's getting the reactions they want from the crowd. They haven't overcomplicated it, have they?
No, they're playing to the strengths of each wrestler. You've got Brock with the absolute power moves, and then you've got Daniel Bryan, who is wily in the ring and is able to transition from dangerous positions into something that's more advantageous to him. So I think you're right. They keep it nice and simple, which you should do when you've got a massive monster heel and a teeny tiny babyface.
Yeah, there you go. On the outside, Daniel Bryan goes for a suicide dive, but he's caught in midair. And I don't care about the size.
He's just swatted almost, isn't
it? But this is the thing, I don't care about the size. Whenever you see somebody catch, Daniel Bryan, when there's a suicide dive, he's running at full pace at those ropes and throws himself. And Lesnar just plucks him out of the air. It's so impressive, isn't it? Regardless of the size difference and the power difference and so on. It must take such ability and strength to be able to do that, Magsy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it again shows to the wiliness of Daniel Bryan that he's able to escape the clutches of Brock, who's trying to smash him into the ring post, and he's able to slam Brock into the ring post instead.
Yes, indeed, and he's targeting again Lesnar's knee, isn't he? The steps come into
chopping
play
that
at
redwood
one point.
down, take him off his feet, and you're all the same height.
Yeah, we end up back in the ring again, don't we? And I've got a note here saying it goes for the knee and it's never 2 count. I'm not sure what that reference is to. I've kind of forgotten.
I think right. Daniel Bryan, I think he hits maybe 4 or 5 of the running knees during the match. So it's him essentially using his power moves to try and get Brock off his feet.
A missile dropkick is hit as well by Daniel Bryan.
It's like a shotgun one.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and this is building up, I think, isn't it? It's building up to him going for the finish of the match. The crowd are behind him. The crowd are really into it. He hits 3 more running drop kicks and 3 more running knees and so on into the corner, whilst Lesnar is visibly shaken at this point. But he's caught on the 3rd attempt for whether it was a running knee or a kick, I'm not sure, but he catches him and turns that into an F5.
I think he was going for the corner drop kick.
Right. Okay.
And then Brock catches him for the F5, but he collapses because his leg has been kicked out from underneath him. He wasn't expecting this much of a challenge from Daniel Bryan, and he collapses under the weight of it. So this is when Daniel Bryan goes for the cross face, and Brock looks like he's milliseconds away from tapping. They mentioned on commentary how bright red his face has gone. Little would they know what his face would be going like in matches in the next few years, because he would come out bright red. Jesus Christ. But Lesnar essentially just breaks his grip and just rips his arms away from each other, because he's just that fucking powerful.
Yeah. Well, he transitions into trying for a triangle, doesn't he? Daniel Bryan. But that gets turned into an F5. And then that is the 3 count there. And Lesnar kind of acts... I think the balance here is so difficult to get right, but Lesnar and Heyman, especially with his reactions to things on the outside, they get it spot on. they're acting still, we're the champion, we're the monsters, we're this, we're in control. But they show just enough of, whew, we escaped there. We just got
Yeah.
away with one there. It's not too much of one or too much of the other, Mags, is it? I think they toe the line just right.
Yeah. It's a case of showing a little bit of respect. Maybe they didn't expect that much of a challenge from Daniel Bryan. So it's almost like we underestimated him. Let's not do that again.
There we go. Out of 10, mate. What are you thinking for this one?
Same. Nah, it's a totally different kind of match. This was exactly the opposite of what I described for the tag match. This was a match where you had somebody getting beat down and trying their best to get any offense and then just getting beat down again. This for the first few minutes of this match, this felt like a typical 5-6 minute Brock Lesnar match, and we're out of here. But they flipped it and they made Daniel Bryan look stronger in a loss than Brock looking in a win. I thought this match was superb, absolutely superb. So another 9, and easily another 9.
I've got 8 again. I couldn't split the two. I enjoyed them. Different reasons, but I enjoyed them both. I really thought both matches were very good. So even though we were critical at the start of the show, very much tongue-in-cheek.
Of course it is.
50-50.
We love a 50-50.
Yeah. We fucking don't, mate. But no, it's an 8 for me as well. Magsy, what would you like to do now? Would you like to scan through the chat quickly, or would you like to give where you want to head next week, or what?
Let's have a quick scan through the chat. And fucking hell, there's a lot of them. A lot of it's about the football. So I'm gonna.
Well, we don't need to.
I'm gonna kind of miss that. So we've got Steve O saying, "Tell you be 10 before you get to bed with them. Before you get to the matches, gotta go to bed. We'll listen in the morning." Well, we appreciate you showing up, Steve O, and it's always nice to speak to you.
Sweet dreams, my friend.
Villa again, all the luck. What a goal! I think it's 3-3. It's the Power Magic King Pig Banners. We were at Villa Park last month. Yep, you actually were, weren't you?
Yeah, watching the Villa Ladies and Arsenal Asia.
Liverpool look rattled now. It's a long time. To be honest, Si always told me that 90 seconds is a long time. Oh, Jesus!
I mean, referencing a football term, obviously, think back to the '99 Cup final. United scored twice.
Yeah. Going towards the actual wrestling, King Pig Banner says completely different style and build to current day, really refreshing. Yeah, absolutely. Breaking football news from this side of the point: Jesse Marsh has been named manager of the Canadian men's national team. Jesse Marsh, who used to manage in the Bundesliga.
Why do I know that name? Did he have a job in this country?
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Did he manage Leverkusen?
I don't know.
Let's move on. So King Pig Banner says, Canada have a football team. Well, Liverpool shit the bed and drew 3-3. How are you lot? We're doing fine, Dan, with this 50-50 that you orchestrated. Shithead. That Villa goal was unbelievable. Cam, how are you, sir?
Hello, sir.
You have missed a cracker of a show. And then Morty in the chat, love you all. We love you too, Morty. Hope you are doing well. The mock Lesnar bounce was hilarious from Ray. It says German suplex just hit different from Brock. Yeah, you just wouldn't want to take one, would you? And he also says something that we didn't really touch on, but this is absolutely spot on for anything that Paul Heyman's involved in. Heyman's facial expressions are amazing storytelling during the suplexes. Yeah, he's at the side of the ring, literally just covering his mouth like in shock just of how much he's ragdolled Daniel Bryan around. Ray then says 8 out of 10 for him. Ray says he was the Fulham manager. Yeah, that's it. And the Leeds manager. Yep. So yeah, what a come down to manage Canada. That's a money thing, isn't it?
Well,
anyway,
I don't know. Managing Leeds, fuck that shit.
Yeah, I suppose. Dirty Leeds.
But there we go. Magsy, considering we've got multiple options, where would you like to go next week?
So I had lots of ideas. I looked firstly at Hayabusa because he's only had literally a handful of matches in America, and he's only ever had one that's been on a pay-per-view, and that was ECW Heatwave 1998. And he was teaming with Shinzaki against, I think it was Rob Van Dam and Sabu for the tag team titles. But I felt that we've watched them as a tag team, and it could possibly be very, very similar. So I thought I'd look at the card that they were on in this Real World Tag League 1997. And there's a lot of names that you'll recognize. Steve Williams, Bobby Duncan Jr., Stan Hansen, Johnny Ace is there. But there's a 6-man match that's in the middle of the card. It's Giant Kamala, because they didn't want to break any kind of copyright laws. Johnny Smith and Wolf Hawkfield, and they take on Mordecai Mossman and the New Blackjacks, and that's Barry Windham and Justin Bradshaw. And I thought we don't show Barry Windham enough love here, I think, on Chain Wrestling, especially is the characters everyone knows him for, like the Stalker and, of course, the Blackjack. So I thought we would stick with the Survivor Series. So that's a link to one match. And also the New Blackjacks, which is a link to the second match. And we go to Survivor Series 1997, the Gang Rules Survivor Series. And we would cover the 8-man tag team match where the Godwins and the New Age Outlaws took on the Headbangers and the New Blackjacks.
Oh my word! There's a lot of shit in that match, isn't there?
Rude. I mean, there is going to be Barry Windham's in it.
Oh, I set myself up for that one, didn't I? What a knobhead.
Dragging the team down.
Oh, you're loving these multi-man matches at the moment, aren't you?
I am.
Excellent. And 97 as well, with all the different factions and groups and so, because they loved a stable in 97, didn't they?
It's pretty much all stables all the way through the matches. The first 3 matches are all 8-man Survivor Series style matches, and it's pretty much all stables.
Yeah. Okay, interesting choice. And if that wins, so many options to go off in different directions afterwards, isn't there? So, brilliant stuff. That could be really interesting. Plus, Barry Windham, can't go wrong. Well, Blackjack's Barry Windham. Yeah, a bit ropey, but never mind. We could link to a better match the week after if that wins. Magsy, my heart was in my throat when you were talking and you started your selection and running through the options that you're going to go for, because the ECW match that Hayabusa takes part in is my option for this week.
Oh, it's a win-win for me then, because I had both of those picks.
So I have from Heatwave 1998. It's a match for the World Tag Team Championships in ECW. Rob Van Dam and Sabu taking on Jinsei Shinzaki and Hayabusa. Again, Heatwave 98 and so on. It's crazy fun, is what the stuff I have read online about it. And yeah, you're right. There's not much about Hayabusa in this country. That's the most prominent match he had in the US. He turned down a WWE deal, choosing to stay with Onita's FMW. But also, he was dead by 47.
Yeah,
he passed away very, very young. He mistimed a moonsault, I read, and basically crippled himself and was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, which then led to complications. And at 47, passed away, which blew my mind when I read it, because I thought, wow, this guy just looks the business.
Oh, it looks like you've let the side down. I mean, that's really sad. Apologies for being ignorant to Hayabusa there. But what a talented guy. And such an inspiration to wrestlers that you see nowadays. You can see a lot of influence there. But you've let the side down. There's
it looks that way.
A string of comments of something that you promised, and you haven't. I
don't think I promised it for this week, did I?
Fanaka, they bottled it, Cam. This is not a we thing. This is a Sa thing. We'll try again next week, sir. I'm sure if you picked the Survivor Series Gang Rules match, there is easier way we can get to some Funaki goodness from that.
I bet if you picked my tag match from ECW Heatwave 98, there is really simple ways to get into a Funaki night from that. So
You're just going to say Japanese, aren't you?
No. Yes, that was my plan. But those are your options. We have the ECW World Tag Team title match from Heatwave 98 featuring Hayabusa and Shinzaki taking on Rob Van Dam and Sabu, or we have a multi-man 8-person tag team elimination contest from Survivor Series 1997. The Godwins and the New Age Outlaws taking on the Headbangers and the New Blackjacks. So lots of different talent, lots of different possibilities to go from as well. Some matches there that I think we'll have some good fun talking about. Magsy, do you have any Hogan bullshit before we sign off?
I promised a cracker, so let's go for it.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Liar, pants on fire, hanging from a telephone wire. Squirming, pants are burning. When I lie, my hips start turning.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Look, man, I made a mistake.
Okay.
So, last week, after the amazing song by the guys at Cultaholic and AR, I mentioned that Hogan had done an interview recently with the 700 Club. Now, the 700 Club is a show on a very Christian American TV channel. It's very Bible thumping, say your prayers kind of channel, and they've now got a sports channel. So Hogan was someone who they interviewed, and he goes into Hogan Griff mode, where he pretends he's like the biggest Christian known to man, all that la-di-da. But he does have a few pieces of gold when it comes to Billy bullshitting, as he is known to do. So he tells a story about Andre the Giant and how Andre the Giant and him were the best of friends, which they were friends, but the best of friends, that's a stretch. And he talks about Andre the Giant. He says a lot of people don't realize that his fingers were like bananas. They were huge. I miss Andre's honesty. He didn't pull punches with people. He had a very rough laugh. I walked with him through the airport and I heard people saying horrible comments and things. This guy's 7'4", 650 pounds. I traveled with him a lot, and there was never a comfortable chair. He could never hold a knife and fork that he could work with. And when he got a hotel, I helped him push the beds together. I miss his guidance and his honesty. Lol, his honesty. He hit you with the real deal. So Jim Cornette kind of picked this little segment apart. And he said, first of all, think of the logistics of a banana. A banana is like 6 to 8 inches long and massively fat. Says Andre had big hands, but they were nothing like bananas. His fingers were not like bananas. He could use knives and forks pretty easily. He said when he went through the airport, nobody said horrible things to him. He said that basically what happened is people were awestruck by him, and he found that uncomfortable, the fact that people were like so shocked and surprised about him. And then he said, when it come to the bed story, he said, this is typical of Hulk Hogan, where he tries to insert himself into wrestling legend and stories that have nothing to do with him. So Jim said, Andre had like a team of agents who would kind of like help him going from show to show and hotel to hotel. He said, so
one referee as well, wasn't there? That it was
said, yeah. So he said Arnold Scoland and Tim White were usually the guys.
Tim White. There you go. Yeah.
They were the guys that would look after Andre, and they were the guys that helped Andre push his beds together.
Yes.
Hogan had nothing to do with it. So that is this week's Hulk Hogan Billy bullshit. He claims he helped Andre the Giant when the only person he helps is his fuck himself.
Big orange lying racist motherfucker. But there we go. That, I guess, Magsy, is, I was going to say all we have time for, but we've overran tonight. But it's our 150th episode. We've had plenty of people in the chat. We've had loads of people's comments to get through from our social medias and so on. Is there anything in the chat you want to dive on to quickly, apart from these idiots, these arseholes trying to manipulate a 50-50 for next week?
This one. Look, Cam, don't get sucked into your brother's bullshit.
He's
Do
bad
not.
influence on you, Cam.
Yeah. Leave it at this. We'll leave it at this comment. That jingle gets me every time. Yeah, that's the best thing. But no 50-50.
There we go. No. Let's make sure that does not fucking happen. Magsy, whereabouts, my friend, can people find you online and the tales of your farming exploits?
So I'm on Twitter at PodfatherMags. I barely go on there though, only really to get the background for this show. So you won't get a reply from there. But I have been putting a lot of my gardening and chicken content on my TikTok, which is at PodfatherMags. So definitely go and check that out.
Awesome stuff. At SJP World Media for anything I'm involved in, and also some great stuff that I am not involved in. Tyler's Takedowns. And I'll tell you what, I want to give a real shout out to Tyler as well, actually. He's decided to go onto this project of his own, and he wanted to give solo podcasting a try. And fair play, he's fantastic. He's nervous and he worries, but he's got no need to do that at all. And he was sending me his shows to edit. In recent weeks, he's sending me the shows saying, I've edited them. Can you just check them for me?
That's amazing.
Self-taught himself and all this. On top of that, he is now starting another project, which is going to be on the network, which is not wrestling based. And I think Tyler doesn't get the attention or the praise this guy deserves. He's knowledgeable. He's fantastic. He'll do anything to help out anyone. So I really implore everyone checks out all the episodes of Tyler and the new project when it arrives very, very soon. But he started interviewing people as well on Tyler's.
Brilliant.
There's some interesting discussions. He's done a bit of commentary with Kevin Sullivan, of all people, as his co-commentator.
Wow.
He's interviewing people from cCW, which is the company he does commentary for in America. He has other podcasters and so on as well. Now, all of these are uploaded, ready to drop on a weekly basis. I think we set it to come out on a Tuesday or a Wednesday morning. So keep your eyes open on the SJP World Media main feed there. But yeah, Tyler is a legend. We also have music podcasts with the Axe Playlist podcast. Fantastic stuff Dana does there. So much going on. It's ridiculous. Make sure you are listening and checking all of those out. And if you want to be involved in any of the shows and you can't get hold of those people directly, by all means, reach out at SJP World Media and I will put you in touch if you want to talk music or whatever with anyone. But most importantly, you can find and follow this show itself on Facebook and Twitter at @chain_wrestling. That's for your non-wrestling topic, your weekly poll voting and all that great stuff there at @chain_wrestling. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us tonight. Thank you so much, everybody who listens on the audio version. Thank you so much, everybody who gets involved via our social medias. And as well to you, Magsy. Thank you so much. 150 episodes, mate. I think that's quite the achievement. Well done, us.
Yeah. I mean, I would normally go into a rant about how much I love the cWf, but it can easily just be boiled down to 2 words. Thank you.
There we go. On that note, Magsy, I'm off now to edit this, even though it's now 20-11. You 50-50 voting bastards. I'll speak to you next week, my friend.
Bradshaw carried the new Blackjacks.